Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in with us on tonight. I'm super excited about you being on with us, and I'm just happy that you have came to be rocking it out with us on tonight. So listen up. We got some great info going on that's about to be happening now. Go ahead and do a quick favor for me, and I need you to grab your cell phones, okay? Everybody grab your cell phones, grab your cell phones, grab your cell phones. If you got to find it, if it's in the kitchen, it got to be somewhere. And so I need you all to get those phones, tag, like, and share. Also, this will be viewed and squared on all platforms, social media platforms. And so we don't want to wait no later. So all of you now, go ahead and get it going and get it popping for us, please. Okay. Go ahead, tag, like, share, invite, let them know we're on. Inbox, let everybody know we are on. Victoria Nicole Hooks is on. All right. And so we got some great convo that's about to take place on tonight. And I'm super, 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 super happy that you guys decided to join in with me on tonight. All right. And so, without further delay, we thank you so much for joining in with us. We have a few guests who are a few of the panelists that are not on right now, but we just thank God that they make it safely, and they will make it safely. And so, I'm just honored that you guys are able to be with us on tonight. Without further ado, listen up. We have a great, great show. And so we have the Professor Collis Bolton, who we're going to add right now. What's going on, Collis?
What's going on, V? Peace and blessing to everybody out there locked in and loaded and paying attention and listening. Do what V said. Make sure you share it. Tell a friend to tell a friend that it's us again.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm so glad to have Collis. We're gonna have some conversation tonight.
I know we are.
And, and
like
I
we
know
always do, though, right?
Yes, and then but the crazy part about it is everybody that's been inboxing me about this man, I'm like, what day? I should have had A-Love come on here at the beginning of the year.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. I mean, over 600 women inbox and email in regards to the musician, the pastor, the boy himself, A-Love. And it was crazy because while we was doing the count, I said, this is too many.
Wow.
Inboxes over one person. And I just was like, what's going on? So the feedback I got is a lot of single women that are out here. I get that.
Okay.
And they single, they looking, they trying to find, they trying to find their man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But I'm finding out that the women are hunters too.
This is true. This is a complicated conversation for sure. I can't wait to get started on this one because I got a lot to say about that.
Well, tonight we're gonna deal with it. Hi, Cassandra. Hi, all of you. Listen, I can see y'all comments, so I would love for you guys to continue to tag, like, share, invite again, like I stated. But listen, it's a lot of conversation that's gonna be going on. But they shouldn't be looking. Mother Erica, listen.
Come on, talk to them.
I understand they shouldn't be looking.
Talk to them.
Because everyone wants to try to use that scripture. A man that founded the wife founded the good thing. But at the end of the day, I didn't know the man was looking either because I also looked in that scripture and the man really wasn't looking. The woman was just in the right place to be found. Okay, let me leave it alone real quick.
Let's go.
Let me leave it alone real quick because tonight
it's about putting yourself in position. It's about putting yourself in position now.
Right. Exactly. So I'm just happy that I'm gonna be right in the right position, in the right place to be found, but not tonight. And I'm very, very thankful, for all that God is doing. And so, it's good that when you are in the right position again, you got to be found. But one thing I love so much about this special guest is that he's down to earth. He's a father first, okay? Not even just he's a father first, but he's a pastor. And then after him being a pastor, he's a musician. He's traveled all across the world. I mean, it's just amazing. And so I've been knowing him as I did on my preview that I've been knowing this young man because he's a young man. I've been knowing him since we was in middle school. And so that's how long we known each other. So you're talking about literally over 20, about 25, 26 years that I've known him. And I'm telling you, I've never heard a bad thing about him. I've never heard nobody try um to really scandal his name or anything like that. And so we're gonna talk about it tonight. And I'm just happy that I don't want to bring him in too early because I want to give the others the opportunity. Because listen, this man time, you gotta pay him for his time. You ain't gonna be trying to, you know. I know he's honored. He didn't ask for a dime, but
Oh, that's love. That's love.
they didn't
That's
love.
love.
He didn't
For
ask
real.
for a dime, but at the same time, I give honor to where honor is due, and I just think it's respectful of the show whenever we bring guests on and we're doing this collaboratively that we pay
They're
for the
compensated.
time. I
Yeah,
really think
gotcha.
that's good, but the right people though, okay? The right people. So before we even bring him on, let's do a preview of last week before we bring him in. Okay. So
I'm with it.
what are your thoughts from last week's show?
I thought last week's show had a lot of potential to be a great show, but I just feel like I don't feel like everybody was on the same page in regards to what type of conversation we were going to have.
Mm-hmm.
And seems like people got uncomfortable, and when the discomfort took place, things got a little strange.
Mm-hmm.
So going forward, hopefully we can minimize those type of situations and complications and make sure every show is running smooth.
Absolutely. And I believe that people think our show is about bashing women and bashing men, and it's not about that. I think they got
Not at
the
all.
wrong concept of our show. And what our show is exactly what it says. It says let's deal.
Deal with it. Correct. So in the end, that is, I get you. It's not bashing, it's constructive criticism. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you bash something to reconfigure it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's not just bashing it to destroy it. You're trying to reconfigure it and make it better. So we're just dealing with whatever it is, that all the things that we don't want to deal with when we look into the mirror and tell ourselves how great we are. Those
Mm-hmm.
times when we cry alone in the shower, we're trying to deal with those things in front of the
Absolutely.
world.
Yes, you're
But that's
absolutely
painful.
right.
You know, like
Come on, you're right. And I've learned I used to have a hard time with constructive criticism in the workplace. And what
mhm.
I've learned about myself over the years that I had to grow because that constructive criticism grows you. And I've heard, Aluv talk about this often on his lives that I listen to when he's in the studio or he's traveling. I've heard him talk talking to the men, talking to the musicians. And when he's talking, it's like, he's saying we got to do better. He's trying to get constructive criticism, but he's been in the game a long time.
Mhm.
So why not eat from a table and be fed from a table that can actually tell you what it's all about? You know what I'm saying?
The problem
And
with most
so,
people's issues is the fact that they don't call them to the table, though. You know what I'm saying? Like the most thing, like even if you want to look at it from a spiritual perspective, like the last thing a demon wants to do is be called out, right? So if you call out my demon, then I'm going to defend myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to, oh, you see that too? I'm going to pull it back in. I'm going to attack you. So
right.
that's what we try to do here in the show. Not saying we just super spiritual calling out demons and we laying hands on things, but we're just bringing those hard conversations, the ones that you don't want to have with yourself, to make you a better person, because you can't become better until you confront things that you know disturb you internally. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, absolutely. And that's the thing. Some people don't want, I'm learning, no matter their age group, people, what I'm learning is that some people don't want to be better. They okay and content with who they are. And so I don't care what level or elite level you think you on. If you cannot never receive constructive criticism or you cannot handle questioning, then that means that you lack immaturity. That's what
Yeah.
I
Well,
feel.
a lot of people also too, they're tricking themselves into thinking that they're okay. They think the
Mm-hmm.
doing good for 7 to 10 days and then having an emotional breakdown on the 11th day and then crying that out and then coming back and having 10 more good days and another emotional breakdown, that's normal to them. They think that's okay because that's how they've been living for the last 7, 8, 9 years of their life. But that's abnormal. It shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't be having these breakdowns to the point where you don't know why you're crying, but you're crying. Like that's not normal. Like
It's not.
something's disturbed internally.
Right, exactly. I just feel like what I know about our show is that we bring truth and we bring the raw real. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
like it, we tell people kindly excuse yourself. It's okay. You're
Fact.
not ready. And what I'm glad now that God has redirected me and who to bring on to the show. Be careful who I bring on. Be careful who I connect with. Be careful who I contact. Knowing who and make sure I'm hearing and not in error. But when I hear well. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that person's character is exposed on the show and it's okay. But at the same time, make sure you handle it. One thing I like about our show, you can go back and look at our shows. It's on all streams, it's on all networks, and we're gonna have our own channel, so it doesn't even matter at this point.
Definitely.
So it's okay. We
But
know
the show
everybody.
says exactly what we do. Like I say, we dealing with it. If no matter how harsh or rugged it might be, we deal with each other sometimes. Sometimes we had to call V to the table. You know what I'm
You know
saying?
what?
Sometimes we got
Off the show though. They handled me off the show. Off the
for an
show.
hour.
For a whole hour in
Break
the
the
green
right to
room.
across the coast for a whole hour.
But you guys have helped me and I love it.
And
I
that's what
love
it's all about.
it. I love it. Who can tell a man about another how can a woman tell a man about being a man if I ain't no man?
Listen, how you gonna tell me how another man is sizing you up when I'm a man and I've sized people up the same way? Like the prey can't tell the predator how to pursue him. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm hunting you. You don't need to tell me, no, that's not how you do it like that. I'm hunting you. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
Exactly.
pursuing you. So you should be learning how to stay out of my way, not trying to teach me how to become better at what I'm doing already. So you did the right thing. You took advice from people who've done what what somebody's trying to do with you.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I appreciate y'all because it's better
Definitely.
now. Look, it's better now.
It smile different.
My smile different, my glow different. Come on here. Oh snap! We got our boy in here, and he has a name now. We got Professor Collins Bolton, and now we also got the analyst Nate Kennard. Hey Nate!
Okay, Nate.
Good
Oh
evening.
Nate,
Good
start
evening.
tonight.
Good
Oh Nate,
evening.
you ready?
Good evening. Good evening. Good
Hit
evening.
us with a good evening.
He come in with the
How's
shirt.
everyone
Come in
doing
with
this
the shirt.
evening?
Nate, we've been waiting on you. Thank you so much for joining in. I was gonna bring you in the 5 minutes of our convo, but you know me and Collins, when we chop it, we chop it.
Well,
Yeah,
you
most
Um,
you
definitely.
soul child, boy. Where you coming from? Come
Yeah, I
on.
just had I just flew in. I just flew in from a service and everything like that.
Okay.
So I
That
had to
sharp
miss.
right there. I see the
Yeah.
burgundy on the back,
I
the
was like,
burgundy
what's the
tie. I
topic
see it.
tonight? Let me go ahead and
Like
put
pops,
my
come on, you gotta coordinate now. Come on.
look. I was like, let me go ahead and put on one of my convocation outfits for the night because I had to get in full mode for the night.
you know what? And that's how them preachers that be lying, getting off, coming into a church service lying, just
Yeah.
lying. Like, nigga, you ain't. You better stop lying. I forgot. I'm on the show. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
John.
It's okay.
Okay,
Exactly
We can,
John.
what's
we
going
can
John
beat
on.
said,
that
Let me
out.
try to make them look more than what they
okay.
really are.
Okay, that's my monetization. Okay, yes, sir. He texted me. He said, "Hold on now, hold on." But I mean, ignorant in an ignorant way. Like, okay, John, I'm flowing with it. But listen, you know how them preachers be lying. They be like,
Oh
"Yeah,
yeah.
man, I just finished preaching, doc." You ain't preaching. Ain't nobody calling you. Stop lying. Y'all be lying. Stop lying. Ain't nobody called you.
It's a trip.
Just say
It's
you just
a
came
trip.
from the barbershop and be done with it. Just
Yeah.
From the barbershop.
Man, listen, Nate. What's your takeaway from last week, show?
Whew. That was, it was the one thing that I took from it afterwards, after just going from beginning to end, how uh it seems like, a lot of times you would think as the older we get, we'll be able to manage our emotions, but it really, you can't really take an account on age, even credentials and the success that you may see someone have in their life, and they can still be emotionally unstable.
Hmm.
And when you're emotionally unstable, you get in your feelings real quick. You can't take truth. I could understand if somebody was lying on you, but we're like, when you got truth coming at you and you're not used to that, oh boy. And what Carlos was saying, I was like, boy, that's a word by itself right there. Demons don't want to be called out. They get there acting crazy, boy, because they don't want to be recognized. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's
And
like pulling the covers back on them.
yeah, it's
Like
so amazing.
it's even almost irrational the response somebody will have. They'll start saying stuff that don't even make, like, the person's smarter than them. Like, they don't make sense, but they're just what they're trying to do is block the truth that you're giving them with a bunch of irrational behavior so it can confuse you. But
Hmm.
you just got to stay focused and understand, like, nah, I'm not tripping here. I really see what I see. And a lot of times they have seen that in themselves. They just don't think nobody else sees it.
Yeah,
And that's the part that scares us. When
yeah,
somebody sees something internally that we try to hide and they see it too.
and it's so funny because it makes me think about a magician, how the hand is quicker than the eye. So
Mm-hmm.
when you see it, but they're so used to you know making you concentrate on something else, and it's like, no, that's not it. This is
That's
it right
good.
here.
That's good.
So they try to defer you from
Yeah.
exactly exposing them,
Look
from
at
the
my
truth
nice
and everything.
car. Look at my good job. Look at all these other things. Look at my nice body, my pretty face.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's good. That's like hiding the hand. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of the things, we all can do better. That's
And
what
that's
I
the
look at.
moral to the story. You know what I'm saying? That's why we here and dealing with it. Like, cause on none of us are like finished products. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
facts,
we all putting this thing together one piece at a time.
facts, facts, facts. And that's my thing about it. It's like, why wouldn't you want to be better than what you want? You miserable. You know, you miserable. You
Listen,
know
I
you
know
having
all
a
about
hard
the shower
time.
cries. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Acting
exactly.
like
Why
everything
not?
fine, and
Why
then you
would you
just
not
broken in
want
the
to be
inside.
better?
Yeah.
And especially if you came in Christ in your life, where Christ is, you supposed to be progressive. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? If somebody whose profession, this person, and especially if you hold a title, but it seemed like you going through more drama than anything else, you like, hold up.
Yeah. And,
That's not
and
attractive.
and it's the control part of it. Like a lot of people they're too concerned with controlling the narrative to actually begin any type of healing too, though.
Yeah.
So like in order to actually heal, you have to let go of trying to control the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't control the healing process. You know what I'm saying? You got to surrender to it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I believe that's something that is something that is a process, and that's something that has to be taught, because that's not the norm for households. It's one of those things where, especially I know with my household, when I grew up in, it was like, what goes on in this house stays in this house type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Where you can't go off and talk about these issues because the issues in house is not being solved. So when you
Correct.
grow up, where, okay, we just gonna sweep this on the rug and then build up whatever wall and then keep it moving, but that doesn't mean you fully heal. You see what I'm saying? And then
Definitely.
it comes a
Nate,
time where a trigger comes out, and then when you're not able to handle those emotions, man, you just fall all apart. Here it is, you close to 40, looking like you 5 years old.
Nate, you coming in a little bit loud. Could you turn it down a little bit on your side?
Let me see if I can turn it down.
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right.
Okay, he'll come back into the room.
Okay.
But everything y'all said, I love. I thank y'all for giving me y'all feedback. I think it's extremely awesome. Um, we got to make sure when we doing this, we deal with it. and we're not here.
Yeah, that's a different show if we're not going to deal with it. If we just going to like talk about it, that's a different show. If we just going to talk about it, right?
We need to do a Zoom
Another
to
show,
talk about
yeah,
it.
but it's another show to deal with it. You talk
Right.
about it and then you deal with it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So now, without further ado, because if this one, what's her name? Valesqua. This Valesqua. If you don't stop inboxing me about it when A Love coming on, this my show. Messaging me talking about when A Love coming on. Now, y'all women are mess. Y'all, Lord have mercy. If listen, if she had, I'm telling you, if she could reach A Love, I'm telling you,
You might grab him.
trouble, boy. You in trouble. That's why I gotta do what I do. I gotta call y'all women out because I say y'all were warming on the last one, and she was up there, and then now you gonna everybody, when's he coming out? Girl, he ain't accepting no new friend request. He don't know you. That's why.
No.
Yes,
he
these
already
women are petty.
he probably already at 5,000. She gotta hit him up
If
on
he's
Instagram.
already at 5,000, but then again, you still look my security, y'all, JJ. Listen, I'm telling you, these folks are a mess. They don't even. All they saw was a picture, Carly, a picture. I'm glad I ain't post a picture of his guitar because that would have been a whole other situation. What is wrong? Oh man, Nate, come on back in. So without further ado, we're not going to hold the show much longer. We want to bring in the only A Love. His name is Ashley Doe, but he's known around all the parts of the world, all 7 continents. Come on here, somebody. The A Love himself. Hey, A Love.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Peace. How you, my man?
Good, good, good.
All right.
It's so good to have you on here tonight.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate you for allowing me to come on your platform and really express, you know what I'm saying, how things are. Let's really deal with it tonight.
Okay, and I'm ready to deal with it too. We're waiting for Nate to come back in, but I'm gonna just go ahead and start it off, and Nate can just fill in and join in because tonight, let me tell you, me and Nate had a whole conversation. Latia Collins said, "Parch." Latia, did you just? Okay, she just inbox. Okay, okay, Latia, I add you as a friend real quick. Ladies, please hold off on inboxing or reach it because most of y'all women in and probably in A Love spam box, he just don't know how to work his inbox.
Ah.
That's probably what's, what's going on. I'm just telling y'all the truth. I'm
you
telling
know,
y'all what God
when Instagram and Facebook cast you off into that outside world where you got to go in there and retrieve it. Like you got to go retrieve the message.
Yes, we're glad to have you back, Nate.
All right, all right.
Okay, you good on sound?
Yeah,
There
yeah. I
we
just
go.
like to
Yeah,
get
he
my
got his
headphones.
headset.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect. So again, you met well, Collis met A Love. A Love, this is the analyst, the preacher, the musician himself. This is the nice analyst, Nate Kennard.
All right, all right. Nice to meet you, sir.
You too, sir.
All right.
So tonight, you guys, we are going to be talking to A Love in regards to the life, as many have seen my topic and the questions of what we will be asking him, and it's just going to be an open dialogue and conversation with him. It's like we're at a couch, we're home, but we're having a conversation right here on Let's Deal with a Talk Show. And so we just ask everyone, if you again have your cell phones, please make sure you tag, share, like if you have groups, share it to your groups, share it to your pages, share it so that others can get this conversation. If you're a preacher and you're a pastor, prophet, fivefold, whoever you are out there in that world, want to be a prophet, so-called prophet, self-approved, this is the show for you, okay? And so right now, the show topic is about the life of being a preacher, a father, and a musician. Hey, love, talk to us. What is the life like being a father first?
It's all about being able to manage, first of all, your home, being able to have self-discipline, and to have a relationship with your children first before you can have one with the church.
Mhm.
You have to make sure that you are taking care of all the responsibilities at home.
Mm-hmm.
That comes with taking to make sure they go to school, making sure you're not missing the wars that they are getting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I had a great father. He's deceased now, but I had a real great father. Uh,
Yes.
Gave me one of the best examples that a man could ever have. So with his help, even though he's deceased and my mother, she's still living, definitely taught me how to be a great father. And also, my kid's mother, she plays an integral part uh, in me being a good father and becoming a better father too. And that's the thing. In fathering, you never stop learning how to do it. You know what I'm saying? You never stop learning. Don't never think because I mean, I think they getting older and I got it. No, this is a team effort. And so I know sometimes some guys bash their baby mamas. No, 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 no. I have a real good support system in their mother. So you have helped me become a better father too.
That's awesome. So your mother name is Willie. Your father name is Willie Doe, correct?
Yes, he was an apostle, really though.
Apostle Willie Doe.
Mm-hmm.
I had the pleasure of meeting your father. I remember the days your father would come and drop you off at school. And oh my goodness, I mean, he loved you. And I could tell how he just girded you up. And just, he was a wonderful man, always sharp. I mean, he was a great man. So I know exactly, as far as from the community standpoint, he was for the people. He was a people person.
Right, right. And that's what it's about. When you are serving, you have to make sure not only that you are providing the word for your people that you're serving, but you got to provide a word for the community too.
Hmm.
It's a sad situation when a pastor is preaching in a community and they don't know his first name.
Mm.
That's deep.
Wow.
You heard what I said? It's sad when he's preaching around the community and they don't know his first name. So we got to, get beyond the walls and get from the pulpit and stop trying to be the best preacher, stop trying to be the best hooper, and get out in the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Personal. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Real talk.
Absolutely. And 2020 says, and Brother Nate and Colin, 2020 should have showed all of us collectively that it's not about being inside the church no more.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic should have really showed all of us it's not about being in the church no more. We should have been doing it, of course, but now it's time to do it more
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people, and since you know how transparent I am,
Go
a
ahead.
lot of a lot of people is not coming to church.
Mm-hmm.
They're not coming. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I was able to break the barriers down. I was able to break the walls with my music, right? So now
Mm.
my music don't stop just in the church.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it broke the barriers for me to go out and minister and to talk to people that will never step foot in my church, but they hear me play them.
Mm.
You know what I'm
Makes
saying?
sense. It's kind of
That's
like sports.
good.
It's kind of like sports for people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
something like to talk about, and then in the midst of having conversation and dialogue with me, you might feel something and get hit with something heavy every now and again. You know.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that, I mean, that right there is just amazing within itself, because 2020 should have woke people up,
Ooh.
Mm,
but
mm, mm.
I don't think they not woke yet. They not woke. Some people still sleep. Some
That's
people,
Mm.
because they don't know they sleep though. That's
Right.
the problem.
that part. And now, what you just stated. If preachers could actually get it. Now,
Right.
I'm about to ask this question. How do you pastor and travel all over the world? How do you pastor and do what you do?
Again, it's all about management, and you have to make sure you know how to delegate. There's no way I'm gonna have 5 or 10 ministers of 5 or 10 evangelists or prophets in my church and think I'm the only one got to preach 52 Sundays.
Uh-oh.
I got to go on vacation too. I got to go enjoy myself too.
Come on now.
So I have learned, especially from my father, it's not about us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to allow somebody else to speak, and it's my job to make sure that of course, you speaking with clarity, and you're not trying to take the church up under my wings. You got some people that you got to make sure that they're not trying to take your church, because we got a lot of people who got cliques in the church.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when I leave somebody in charge, and the ministry has been established for, over close to 40 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been established close to 40 years now. So with my mother still been there, she old school. She ain't gonna let everything go on nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So I learned how to allow them to, soar, allow my ministers to preach. And whether I'm there or not, and let me say this right here. If a pastor feels like he has to be to his church every Sunday, his church, he don't have a successful church.
Help. Y'all preachers listen.
Well,
y'all ain't gotta talk to me. In business, in the corporate world, because I know a lot of y'all in business. In the corporate world, if a boss man cannot leave his business to the people, he don't have a successful business.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So I have learned, okay, I'm teaching them. They have already been taught. Some of them have been, stayed from my father. I have new members now too. So I'm teaching them how to handle things. That way, if something happened to me, it can still go on.
That's good.
That's heavy.
That is awesome right there.
That's heavy.
That's heavy.
Now you probably hearing a whole lot of stuff that some people didn't even expect you to even hear. But it was a great question because I was dialoguing. I was just like, now, Aluv, you have a lot of pastors who are married. I'm gonna get my question out of the way, and you guys can handle it. Let me just let ladies first. You got pastors who are married,
right?
Who cheats on their wives. How do you minister to a pastor who cheats on their wives, and they cheat on their wives with members in the church?
Well, one thing I learned how to do in a situation like that, if I have a friend or a brother, because we always supposed to consider them friends and brothers in the ministry that's in the body of Christ. Our first job is to first pray with him and pray for him. And sometimes it's our job as friends to let him know you might want to take a step down sometime.
Okay, that was my next question.
You might want to pull back and get yourself together, because not only are you affecting your wife and your home, you are affecting your church. Because now you have people who was looking up to you. You know how sometimes, and we shouldn't do it, but sometimes we put our leaders on pedestals. Sometimes we put them up too high. You know what I'm saying? And so when that happens, we get to a place where we don't think they can do no wrong. They're still human. They're still human. They're still in the flesh. And we all know the scripture, God don't see no good thing in the flesh. Okay, cool. At the same time, he shouldn't continue to make the same mistake consistently after he get himself together. Am I making any sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Facts.
If you don't step down at the end of the day, you're not only impacting your wife and your kids, now you're also stepping into other people's houses as well that you're ministering to. So that spirit of conniving and deceit is now touching a piece of everybody you minister to. So you're basically spreading this thing around like the COVID.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Infecting the whole body. The whole body,
right.
but at the same time, you're like gangrene in your feet.
Come on, and 6 feet ain't enough distance to get away from that type of energy.
Oh no, sir.
6 feet.
And then you got to be careful, because then you have a man that if he decides that he want to work off of self and still operate after somebody suggested that he sit down, you got to be careful when he start praying for his sheep.
Listen,
You got to be very careful, but because you don't want that spirit, like you said, to spread around the church.
and that's why stepping down is the best thing you can do.
That's
But the
the
problem
best thing
is,
to do. You
it's
got to
the
get yourself
pride.
straight. You
It's
got
the
to.
pride ain't gonna make them step down. And then also, I don't feel like a lot of brothers are comfortable enough approaching another brother and telling him like, "Hey, you need to get your home in order internally." You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people, unfortunately, in the new age that we're in, we're scared of conflict and confrontation. Hard conversations, like we'd rather just let it go on and like, well, let the Lord handle it. But like, maybe what if the Lord sent me to handle it? You know what I'm saying? What if He told me to tell him? You know what I'm saying?
And if you're a real friend, they should accept what you said anyway.
Yeah, very true.
Somebody said it perfectly. Bleeding on the sheep. That's exactly what's happening. Thanks,
And
Sheena.
that's what's happened. That's actually what's happening. I know one thing with Aluv, when I went through what I went through, Aluv reached out to me and was like, "Listen, sis, that ain't right. That ain't right. Sis, you need me to come to Texas." I said, "Listen, I don't need to then come to Texas."
Listen, man. Somebody got to confront it, man. Somebody got to confront it, man. At the end of the day, because a lot of these conniving, deceitful spirits they're not as aggressive as they appear to be when they're in the presence of somebody with some type of benevolence to them.
Absolutely. My next question that I have for you, Aluv, and the guys, they pretty much can take it on. Preachers paying their musicians. How do you approach that? Do you feel preachers, pastors, churches, however you want to call it, because what I've learned in most churches, the pastor is the one that has the final say. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I am the best spokesperson for this right here because I play too. And I have been playing longer than I have been preaching and pastoring. When you have musicians um, that are minstrels, when you have minstrels in your church, these are people that run with your vision. These are people that has the same anointing you have on you because they have to flow with you.
Okay.
When you have these people um, that bring so much contribution to the service, you walk in the church, you hear music. When the ushers pass out the programs, you hearing music. When the praise and worship team is up, you hearing music. Before they take up the offering, you hearing music. While they taking up the offering, you hearing music. When he preach, if he's a hooping preacher, you hear the music. So how can we tax a section in the church that is the only thing that's going on the whole time? Music is the only thing going out the whole. Most time when I'm preaching, I'm pastoring, I come out midway to service. You know what I'm saying? I come out midway to service. So yes, to answer your question, yes, we should pay musicians. Why? Because first of all, they're sacrificing their time. They have families too. They have to learn the music. That's mental stress. They have to go to rehearsals. Time they could spend with their family. Wednesday and Thursday night, they're at the church rehearsing. And then sometimes they rehearsing with people can't sing no way.
Come on now. Talk about it. Let's go.
So now not only do you want me to not come here and get my money, you want me to deal with people that can't perform on the level or skill that I have?
Come on now. Listen.
I'll be stressed. Yes, they should pay them, but sis, I want to give you a flip side of that too. Musicians, if they do not pay you, you don't have to go there. Take your gift somewhere else.
Very true.
Walk, sir. You have
Very
to
true.
I need y'all to let me just make this disclaimer. If you inboxing while this show is going on, you will be blocked tonight.
Don't block them, sis.
Oh,
Hold up.
They
Wait,
wait a
wait,
minute.
wait. No.
She
The
blocked
reason
him.
why
She
I'm
blocked him.
making this disclaimer is because my assistant have let you know that I am on a show. And if you got any questions that you need to ask for Ashley Doe, please make them in the comments because it's going to be seen across the screen. Okay? I thought that was a real nice disclaimer.
there you
Okay.
go.
I hate to
Hey
hit a
man,
nasty one. I tell you that.
hey, she listen.
Carry on.
She been the same since elementary school. She ain't changed.
And she ain't changed.
But no, what he
Listen,
was saying is very actual and factual because let me tell you, when my wife be doing singing in that little choir all that time
come
and all
on,
that
man.
time and in that time and all that
Come on,
time
man.
and you know, I'm sitting there trying to figure out, hey, what we eating for dinner and what we gonna do tomorrow, and she ain't got time to do nothing with me or plan nothing with me and the kid because she just rehearsing. Let me
Right.
tell you something. I don't well, she'll probably tell you different, right? Because in my mind, I don't be tripping, but I be tripping. But if you ask her, she probably say I be tripping. So who knows? But I be stressed.
Right. Right. Right.
Listen, the
So if she was
aspect
getting paid for it, it'd be different for me, probably.
the aspect of life for a musician, you just don't know until you start walking in it. You just don't. So, and the people who don't feel musicians should get paid are people who have no musical talent.
Mhm.
That's how I see it.
Yes,
Or
sir.
just
And
haven't never given all their time to something like that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
because to understand what it takes to be a church musician, it's like you just don't know. And what the pastor was just sitting here saying, what people don't understand, just the fact that what you don't see, because a lot of times what people just see is us up there, playing the music, and
Mhm.
when they playing it, we make it look easy. We make it look easy, but you don't understand the time that goes into that, the practicing, the repetition,
Mm.
all night long. I remember I was having a conversation with Victoria when I first started playing the piano. I started at 8:20, excuse me, because we was getting in, at the time my aunt church, we was getting keyboard players come in, they'll be there for 3 weeks, rock the house, and then they go somewhere else because they got more money and everything like that.
Right.
So
Right.
I was the drummer. I was like, so I was committed to the ministry.
Right.
So I was like, I'm gonna learn how to play, and it was a long road. They and that church had to listen to some awful sounds from the keyboard player. There was some growing pains, but
Right.
as the Lord started, I get growing in God, and started being able to get skilled, and then that Norton start kicking in, man.
There you go.
It's like a whole nother world. It's amazing. And one thing you said that's so true, what people don't realize, how the music draws people.
Oof.
Music draws people. The word going to keep them there, but the music draws people. That's why it's such. You got to have such a relationship with the pastor who has the vision and the musician. You have to be on one accord. For the ministry to grow. I done been in ministry. We was on a storefront, with 50 people, and then within a year's time of me being there, we up there capacity in 250 people in the church
Right.
in a short period of time. So that's how the teamwork, how it goes. Now, and when you talk about going into the finances and everything, I grew up in church where that was taboo. That was not even of God,
And I
getting
just
paid.
want to iterate this part too. I've
What's
been
that?
in. I used to handle church finances. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And me being able to have the pastor trusted me to handle the church finances, I found it an honor because you got some people that just don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen it where they done sat in it, you done asked them to come to church at 9:00.
Mm.
And y'all don't get out till 2:00 and you only get them $75 a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
$75. And they
What church were you to?
Say his
Listen,
name.
it's in the
Say his
den. Let me
name.
just say that. It's in the den.
listen.
Let me just say that. It's down there. Because the
Say his
churches up here,
name.
the churches down here in Texas, the churches down here in Texas, let me tell you something. They're not paying no $75 a Sunday down here. They're not doing that here. I'm telling you. But then I've also been to ministries to where I was told, or the pastor, get up there, I ain't gotta pay nobody. If y'all want to be a part of the ministry, then I ain't gotta pay y'all. But I'm saying, even if you're raising little ones up, and I know you're gonna get to that part, but I just wanted to reiterate, $75 a Sunday is not okay. And y'all still paying $75 a Sunday for somebody to play. You only gonna have that one keyboard that's gonna, you ain't gonna get no drama, you ain't gonna get no cymbals, you ain't gonna get no bongos, you ain't gonna get nothing else outside of that $75. And it's gonna be a what you call it, what you gotta, I need a tune up piano. That's all that you gonna play on. And that's what
and and it's so funny you saying that, because even in the aspect of with musicians growing up, the one thing I used to do, the young kids, I used to try to educate them, because I wasn't educated on that aspect of the church part, the business part. It was like I knew how to flow and let the anointing flow and everything like that. But when it came to the business part, it wasn't until I got with other seasoned musicians who basically pulled the scales off of my eyes, and I was like, "Word, for real?" I mean, one of my mentors, he wasn't a pastor, but he's a pastor now. And I remember, traveling with him, as a musician, and I grew up in the apostolic sector. So I didn't know, and what's so crazy, because I was so wrapped up in the apostolic, I didn't know nothing about all the other entities, the church and stuff like that. So he used to play for AME, right?
Okay.
And then that's when I started learning, like, man, you go over AME gonna pay, and so I remember I went to like 3 services with him, and he was getting a check from everyone no less than $400. We ain't there less than 2 hours. And he just throwing his checks in the glove compartment, because and I was like, what? And he was doing, more the Baptist style, type of thing. And I was like, man, I do more than you. I'm sitting here, I'm gonna tell you what my schedule used to be like. Okay, you got Sunday morning service, right? You got Monday men's choir practice. You got Tuesday, leadership meeting. You got Wednesday, you got praise team practice for Thursday night service. Thursday night service. You got Friday praise team practice for Sunday. Saturday, you got choir practice for Sunday, and then back to church on Sunday. 7-day schedule on top of me working full-time job, and on top of me learning these songs.
Woo, I need Ado to tap on that, please. Woo!
So there was no, and it's gonna, and I'm gonna show you how. Just remember that schedule. How just think about how my personal life was. It was nothing but church. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, and this also going to be some things that I'm going to talk about, when you talk about my personal life. This is my mid-20s and everything. So I'm not able to go out, meet no females and that. So guess what? Females right there in the church.
Right.
And they hot. I just had they hot. On fire. Draws on fire. Firecrackers.
So when you sitting there and you got this man who's, doing all these types of things, just like how the pastor was saying, he playing from the beginning to the end, and sometimes even after church,
Yeah, man. Not to cut you off, Nick, but
sure.
First thing, I just want to commend you for making all those rehearsals. Ain't no way in the world I would have made none of them rehearsals. I just want to commend you for making all them rehearsals and staying committed to it. No. See, the key thing you said when you got with the seasoned musician, a lot of people don't understand they are the roadmap to success for musicians.
Yeah.
I was honored and privileged to get with those guys early. I started playing at 7 years old. I got with them when I was like 10. And so they taught me the ins and outs. One thing I found out, especially about church or secular music or any type of music, if you let people manipulate you, they
that's
will.
The thing. That's the thing right there.
They will, man. There. If you let people manipulate you, they will. And so this is what I teach the younger generation. There's a difference from being loyal and getting paid than being loyal and getting played.
Mm. That's a t-shirt slogan.
I know. Thank you, man. Y'all put some t-shirts for me. Sis, you hear that was a t-shirt.
Oh yeah, I put it on the t-shirt. Just let me know your size. Love anybody.
But I'm serious because we get it twisted. You know, I'm gonna be loyal to my ministry. But then your bills getting behind, your wife now, I don't know. Especially y'all brothers that's married to a sister.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you married to a sister, you going to church. You mean to tell me you gotta be going 7 days without bills getting behind?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't gonna work.
It ain't gonna work.
Gonna work.
It ain't gonna work. So,
You
well,
can't.
I gotta be committed to my, and you gotta remember this now. And sis kind of touched on it, but I'm gonna finish it for you. You gotta remember this. The pastor don't take a pay cut.
Mm.
Y'all hear
Facts.
me?
Mm.
Now, in my church, my father established this years ago. I'm not on salary, nor was he. Because when you on salary, people can tell you what to do. Tell
Listen,
you when
that's
you
the
gotta
worst
be
thing you
there.
can do. When they tell you they're on salary, that means you got to come in when they say come in. You got to close when they say close.
If I don't decide to go to my church Sunday, nobody can make me go.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all hear me?
Yes,
So what happens is when people put you on salary, they try to manipulate you, especially some churches. So they don't tell you this up front. And that's why I teach guys now, get a contract up front.
Facts.
man.
Salary makes you property. When they give you a salary, you become property.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
Now,
You
what
gotta
you talking about that
5 in the
contract?
morning.
That's facts right there with the contract because
You gotta get a contract now with churches now, man. You got to.
With my mentor, he taught me about that, and then at the time, my dad had a friend that was a lawyer.
Yes, sir.
He already had one on a template and sent it right over to me. You know, and it covers the church services, it covers the the vacation, cover funeral and wedding services, stuff like that. Because a lot of times when and it's so funny too because I'll be joking with some of my friends. It's like, man, you know how some of these preachers be talking about how they used to be drug dealers, pimps, and prostitutes, all that type of stuff.
Right.
And it's like they still got that daggone mentality coming in,
Oh,
It
that's a
ain't
fact,
left.
though.
It ain't
That's
left.
the truth.
Yeah,
That's true.
and it's so funny because if you come in with the heart for the ministry, it's like they almost see that type of thing to where they manipulate you, type of thing. If basically you seem like you green, you know what I'm saying, and that's how I went in with a lot of my situations where I was just green. I'm coming in, with my heart hanging out. What do y'all need me to do? And I don't know.
I just want to serve. You just want to serve, right?
Yeah,
But
Nate,
what
but
was
most of
going
the time
on?
with that mentality, most guys that are musicians want to be seen. And they broke. Like most people want to be seen in that way. I'm not saying you, but I've seen it. And I've learned in church, like I was like, some musicians are broke. First of all, they ain't got no money. And and that's some, I ain't say all, but some.
You telling the truth.
And what I've learned is that they would go here, there, they would church hop, and they would come in and they be, oh, I can play and I can do this and that. And I'm like, you broke. Like I'm looking like you broke. You going from different. And the reason why I'm stressing the fact that you broke. I used to date a musician, and I'm not gonna say he was broke, but I'm just saying like he lived well. He lived nice. So at the end of the day, there was never a time where when I went out to eat, I paid the bill. He paid every bill. I ain't never have to worry about that because organist, oh, they get paid good money. Oh, they can make that organ talk, baby. Yes. But these women. Men, y'all sitting up here going to these churches and y'all not getting paid, and they and keyword, like he said, manipulate.
That's right.
Y'all get manipulated, and they said, "Oh, God bless you, thank you, man." And then I don't like this. Hey, love, maybe you could tackle it. I don't like when a guest preacher come and they ain't got their own musicians to back them.
Lord, I already know where you're going.
Like you want me to put my folk to play behind you. Yeah, get on up there. Well, that means, Pastor, on Sunday you gonna pay me. On Friday night you gonna pay me because maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just saying. I feel like it is the pastor, whoever that preacher is preaching. It's their responsibility to make sure the musician is taken care of. That's my take on it. But Nate, I love you, baby, but I ain't know how that was going on.
Well, yeah,
it's easy for that to happen though because you're manipulating somebody's servant spirit. And when somebody that's into service, they care more about the people than they do about and helping people than they do care about fiscal gain. So it's easy to manipulate that. And in due time, after stuff starts falling by the wayside financially, that person might start looking at it differently, but you already came in the game a certain way. So it's hard to talk yourself into a financial profitable situation after you came in just talking about service.
Yeah.
So they kind of keep you locked in that box.
Oh yeah, most definitely, those facts. But you know what's so crazy about too, where I actually do thank God that I went through that, because it has helped me move forward in other sectors of life. You see what I'm saying?
Correct. And you had to come to an understanding and say it's okay to also get money for servicing people. It's okay to, like, people have to get past that part. Like it feels so nasty to people that want to get compensated for their work when they say they're here to serve. But two things can be true, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
But I learned a long time ago. There's a difference from high definition TV than regular TV. And when you're in high demand, you don't have to deal with stuff like that. So I don't deal with that no more. Anybody that called me, they already know.
They already know.
Me. I don't deal with that foolishness no more. I don't deal with, well, you know, we don't. No, I don't deal. I don't. You know, I didn't. You know, that's my.
Paid your dues. You paid your dues.
I paid my dues for all that.
Yeah.
So I don't have to deal with it no more.
Yeah.
You know,
that's awesome.
The next question I have to ask you. JJ said, JP Keys said direct deposit.
Come on.
There you go.
Now, and see, JP Keys, he's a musician here.
Okay.
In Houston, and he does my flyers and stuff. And I tell you, they play for the Caucasian church, and he color. He a color person. And Jaden said, "Oh, they gonna direct deposit me. We don't do that." And one thing that I like about the reason I like the way the church up the street from me, Pastor John, love them to life. What I love about them, they make sure all their stuff is squeaky clean. Make sure they folks are paid for. Their musician, even though they're members. Now, it's going to lead into this, Aluv. How do you, as a pastor, I'm coming this way because I know this is going to be good. As a pastor, and you have a musician in your church sleeping with one of your members, how do you handle that as a pastor?
Well, the first thing,
and they're not married.
Right.
How do you handle that?
The first thing, before I even hire anybody, I have a conversation with them. Before I even get to that, I have a long conversation with them, and I make sure they know that the first time that come across my desk, I don't care what church you in, the pastor know what's going on. I don't care how sneaky you try to be. I don't care what she tell you or what he tell you. That leader know what's going on. Just God just haven't released him yet to come to you yet. So you have to, you have to do it like you do a regular job. When you're at a regular job, you give people, if they come late this time, you give them a warning. They do it this time, you give them a warning. Do it this time, they out the door. You know what I'm saying?
So you really believe in putting a person out the church?
Well, I don't put them out the church. What I do, I sit them down and give them time. I don't kick them out the church, sis. I don't kick them right out. I ain't gonna kick nobody out no church now. Unless they come in there and call.
How did?
Listen,
how kick them people out of the church?
I know, but I'm Aluv. That was Paul. I'm Aluv, so I'm not gonna kick nobody out of church unless somebody's doing something that's relevant in the church. But I'm saying, listen, a lot of musicians that people are hiring now says they're not saved.
That's true.
So they don't know the protocol of I got to come in here and get this girl, and you gotta be careful because some women just come to church to see the musician.
Talk, sir. Talk. Talk.
And since I gotta think about it like this because there's two sides of every story. He didn't rape her.
I'm going on mute.
He didn't. Talk, sir. He didn't rape her. So now I got a problem with my member. I have an issue with my musician. So as a leader, I can't kick both of them out.
Okay, come on with it. I gotta
talk to them and make sure they understand that this is what I don't tolerate that it's here. And I'm going to make sure that, hey, I think what I do, you can't play for a few Sundays, oh, let's work something else out. And, since in my church, I still know how to play. I ain't forgot how to play.
Oh, hey, look, I thought you just sat back and just, you know.
I ain't forgot how to play.
So you still serve in your church.
Listen, musicians, I tell my musicians, I'm not going to pay you to practice on my time and dime. So if they don't come prepared, okay, that's cool. I still know how to play too.
Natasha, let me address this comment you made. I'm gonna address this comment. Why is it about women? Because it's not about women. He stated both.
Yeah.
So make sure you catch that. It's not about women. It's
No.
both sides.
Right.
And again, you have women who do a lot of stuff, throw rocks and hide their hands. I said it on my previous live today. Yes, they both did the dance, absolutely. But what what Aluv is stating tonight is you got a musician who was sleeping with that person, but then that woman come and say she raped them, and as a pastor, so he has to deal with both sides of the story.
Right.
And so we're not dealing with just one person. Now you got a lot of women. I've seen it. I saw it with Aluv. 600 women email and inbox me in regards to this flyer.
And sis, I ain't got a whole lot for that. I ain't got a whole lot going on for that minute. I ain't got a whole lot. That's too many for me.
Listen,
100 women.
And you know what's so crazy too?
Natasha, you just joined in because I can see those who are joining in on Facebook, and I can see it. And so I just want you to know I'm not tackling women because somebody tried to come at me and try to say, "Oh, you for more the men than the women." No, I'm very, very transparent with both. I'm more of the compare and contrast type of person. So listen, I see same and I see difference. But let me just say this: when it comes down to as Pastor Aluv stated, he got to deal with both sides.
Yeah.
If you got one person that's accusing and the other person isn't. Now they got cameras and stuff from Ring doorbell, so we know when you show up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you got a lot of women, I stated, they throw rocks and hide their hands and manipulate the story as if that was all on a man. And technically, you forgot. Them DM messages still there.
Oh, my
You forgot. Them inboxes is still there.
Ooh, DM.
Those click pics, hello somebody, it's still there. Those breast pics, those butt pics are still there. So what you were sending him through text message, through DM, oh, the pastor already got it. So now you can't say, oh, you was raped. You enticed and took it to another level. So that's what's really happened in the church, and people really be honest. A lot of women have thrown their rocks and hide their hands. I got in trouble for this before, and I'm still going to say it again. Stop putting them drawers down, being so high in the ass. You get somewhere, sit down, put some cold water on yourself, and put yourself in the ice box.
Yeah.
Everything has a fingerprint.
Yep.
Everything. You can't hide anything these days.
Nah.
Yes, our car receipt. Ain't enough blue pills for that. Absolutely. 600 women. Ain't enough blue pills for 600 women, Aluv. It's too much on your how do you handle same-sex dating and holding a position in church?
I think for that, to me, it's the church you're going to. Everybody church don't allow that. So let me say this: there's a lot of churches that will let same-sex people come to their church, but when you hold a position, you can't come to a church or go to a business and you working one day and then you the boss or you the supervisor. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that, to me, that's up to the people, the pastor. That's up to the church itself if they're going to accept that. That's a touchy subject for some churches. I don't know a lot of churches that says they allow that. I don't.
And see, that's what's happening now. The reason why churches can run the way that they are from an administrative side, pastor side.
Yeah.
One thing I love about church, if you don't have no bylaws in place, you ain't running no church. You just
Right.
having a hole in the wall.
Right.
If you don't have no business about your
Mhm.
church, you don't got no organization, no structure in your church. It's you got a whole hole in the wall.
Mhm.
I'm,
Now,
I'm just telling you that if you are a pastor, hello somebody, you should not be handling the finances of your church.
Wow.
mm,
Talk says.
That's
If
some
you are
commit.
a pastor,
mm,
now you paying your musician out of your own pocket, that's one thing. But if you're handling tithes, offerings, mission, all that, you should not be handling the finances of your church. You are illegally running a church and it's also called embezzlement. I
mm.
don't care if you're in, I do not care if you're saying, well, I ain't got nobody that I can trust. No, you better get you 3 folk. All you need is 3 board members. If you 501c3
You
and you
needed three.
and you running your church and you getting out and you trying to make sure you don't have to file taxes, get you 3 board people. I'm trying to help you. You can be the president. That's fine. You could be a signer on the bank account. Let me help you. You could be a signer. But you need also 2 signatures to authorize that transaction.
Mm.
Ain't one thing about me, ain't nothing done when it comes to church. I see how it's being ran before I even became a pastor. I was also assisting finances. But if you're a pastor, and you handling the church finances, and you got your own debit card, and you got the whole bank account underneath the church name, but that's your personal account,
Wow.
you are an embezzler.
Talk
Okay?
says.
That's
Talk girl.
definitely
And
dangling the funds.
that's exactly how a lot of churches, storefront churches that are small, and y'all starting these churches, you ain't even got no EIN number. Get somewhere and sit down and close those church doors. And whoever is going in the church up there paying your tithes and offering, if they don't give you no statement at the end of the year, you are running an illegal operation. Help me.
State from
I
your
just needed
tithes. Who
I
does
just
that?
needed I needed to say that. I needed to and I make it very clear because offering is free will. Offering is free will. So if you're giving 10% of your earned income, you should get a statement at the end of the year or going before January 31st, just like W-2s. It's documentation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, churches can run their churches however they want to. I understand that. But when you're dealing, if you are 501c3, hear me good. If you're 501c3, you need to be making sure your folks are getting their statements at the end of the year because they're sowing into your ministry. That's part of their income. Another thing, let me tackle this before we go to the next thing. If you guys are musicians and their church is not having you sign a 1099 form, you need to find you somewhere
Mm.
else to go.
Woo.
And that 1099.
You
Come
need to
on,
get you
girl.
a 1099
Private contractor.
That's right.
because they're not taking taxes. Now, if they're taking taxes out of your money and they ain't giving you no paperwork, you need to find you another church. And you also need to report that behind. See, I ain't playing. No, you're not
No,
gonna be
no,
doing
you're
it.
not. You is not playing.
See,
We're
This is
telling
too
tonight.
much. This too much. It's
and
too much going on, and we got to restore the order back to the church. I love the fact that, and I love. I did a little bit of research. What I love about your ministry is that your people that you have, you may not be grand on the grand level, but your people love you and they serve and they just honor you and respect you so much in your community. I think it's amazing in the Fountain, North Carolina area. I think it's amazing how the people down there, they love you. They love you. And I just found out that you have actually help pay for some of your members' bills, and where you can assist them. Yeah,
Sis,
that's
I did a
awesome.
little digging up on you.
I see. I see. You know a lot, sis. But I mean, that comes with the territory. I mean, when you a leader and your people have been given all year long, and they have been, being obedient. It's you know,
Mm.
it's okay. It's okay, leaders, to help them. With bills or shelter, food, whatever the case may be. Like I first stated earlier, I do a lot for the community. My church do a lot for the community. But if there's people inside of my church that's in need, my job first is to make sure I take care of their need first before I even go out to the community.
That's good.
That
That
is
makes
good.
sense.
I
That's
got
good.
people in my church that need food or need water, whatever the case may be. They, oh, Pastor, this got to happen. And I have a type of people that, now they got good jobs and stuff like that. So I have type of people, they don't want to come to me and ask me for anything. So they're trying to work it out on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that if they come to me, it's a need.
I mean, I can't be out here going with you out in the streets helping people when I need help myself in the inside though. So
Come on,
I mean,
man.
you got to start. It's almost like basketball, right? You start in the
Right,
paint, and then you go out to the 3-point line. You know what I'm saying?
right,
You
Yeah.
start inside
right.
first. So
And so, sis, so that's why people love me because I keep it real. I keep it 100 with them. And I tell my members, you shouldn't be going to other churches standing in line when I can help you myself.
Ooh,
I need my sheep.
You shouldn't be.
ooh,
You don't
that's
have to.
heavy.
You don't have to fast for 30 days or 60 days, and your light bill $200, and I got $200 in my pocket.
There you go.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's why my people, they love me. I keep it real with them. So since you've been there, I
Yeah.
keep it real with. I keep it real. I keep it 100. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to front for nobody. Be fake. I like to help people. At the same time, I teach them how to help themselves, so they won't need me consistently.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
That's
that
awesome. That's
signs of a good.
awesome.
That signs of a good coach and teacher, though. You know what I'm saying? If I have to consistently come back to you every time, then you ain't really teaching me nothing. Like
Yeah,
Right there you
exactly.
go.
the
There
goal
you
of
go.
teaching somebody something is so they can become self-sufficient with what you taught them one day.
Right.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's awesome.
that's good. That's absolutely good. I mean, I just love it, man. What you got, Nate?
Whew, where do I start? Where do I start?
You
Well,
got your questions. Come on, Nate.
yeah, because I know we've been bouncing around a lot and everything. Just piggybacking off where we just was the topic we were just talking of.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my question is why, in your opinion, because I hear what just from talking with you in your ministry, you're all about growth of your the people that follow you.
Yeah.
Why do you in your opinion, why do you think pastors, when they get people in position, they want to keep them there and don't allow them to grow, especially with the aspect of musicians? Because with musicians, once people get people in place, they want to keep them there and don't want them doing anything else when they do have gifts of being able to prophesy or be even be able to preach in that aspect. But if they start going into that going forth, then they ain't gonna be no musician no more.
Mm.
So why is there like it seems almost like it's a intimidation
That's what I
type
was
of
getting.
thing?
That's what I
Yeah,
was going to tell you.
yeah,
Not only is it that them type of leaders have control issues.
very much so.
And they feel like if they can't control you, then you may, like you said, uh, captivate the attention of the church more so than them. Because you have some musicians, like you said, you have some musicians that can preach,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes they can preach better than the pastor.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases they can teach better than the pastor. Sometimes, I'm not talking about every time, but sometimes they can. So when you have people that can operate, I know y'all know the story of David and Saul.
Mm-hmm.
How Saul saw that his anointing has shifted to David.
Yeah.
So y'all know the story. So to answer your question, man, like you said, it's just intimidation. They don't want you to, like I said, captivate attention. Especially they start people, especially the members start saying, "Oh, we need to let him preach this Sunday, or let him teach next week, Pastor." Oh man, you're in trouble then.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are confident in yourself and you're a confident leader, it don't matter who come in your church. Hey, let them preach. Let them do this. Let them operate. You're taking a load off of me.
And you would think that would be the case because I've said, just like how, everyone's calling everyone, these pastors will call people, their spiritual sons and their spiritual daughters, and you would think as, because I'm a father now and with my daughter, I want her to be, grow and be better than I ever was.
That's
So
because you don't have a hidden agenda towards your daughter.
there it is.
That's because you don't have a
There it
hidden
is.
agenda towards your. You love your daughter with pretty hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why.
There it is right there. The hidden agenda. And that's
Yeah.
where that is in the aspect of with these leaders, when they tell you that they love you, that's what's gonna come out is, the hidden agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they truly love you, it's gonna be that unconditional love.
That's right.
But if there's an agenda behind it, it's gonna be that conditional love. I love you until you
Mm-hmm.
do something I don't
Yeah.
like.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's very relevant. People quick to put titles on people and try to bring them closer to them so they can manipulate them later. For sure, they use the love on your heart as a weakness on your brain on a consistent basis in the church.
Ooh, man, you on
That's
something there,
heavy.
dog. That's heavy,
That's
dog.
heavy. That is heavy right there. So
Especially if you got money now.
No, listen,
Especially
because
if
the
you're a
church is
member that got some money now.
church still a business now. Still a
and,
business.
and it's so funny that you say that, because when you be in church a lot, you do start to see the ones that provide the finances, a lot more, have a lot of slack.
Sir.
They get away with a lot of stuff because we can't upset them because they tithe the most. When it's obligations that needs to be met, they're the first partakers. And when they're dishing in that money like that, it's like, man, they getting
So you
away
saying
with
it's
it.
it's a class system even in the church, right?
Yes,
Oh yeah,
sir.
most definitely. I'm gonna give
Absolutely,
one.
man.
I'm gonna give one scenario, because I was gonna ask about when somebody had mentioned about the homosexuals, I was gonna go in the aspect of with the homosexual musicians and people that are choir directors and singers, and openly everyone knows that they doing this. The girlfriend is sitting right there, in the church, and they leaving together, but because this person can sing, they tell them they're really talented. It's brushed off to the side. So it's like they just giving a pass. So it's almost as it's basically warranted. Like, okay, this lifestyle is okay because they're doing, they're operating in the ministry and they're providing a service. So that's why, and it was a mind boggling to me, because for the aspect, I tried to, I didn't dot every T and cross every, dot every I and cross every T, but I tried to live a lifestyle that would be a representation not only to me but to my church and to my leaders, right? So I didn't want to be doing any or everything. But then I gotta be honest. If somebody I'm operating ministry and I see them doing this and then nothing happened to them, so I'm like, all right, well, ain't nothing gonna happen to me. So let me go ahead. And that's just being real, So I was like, man, they out there doing their thing, and I'm going home by myself, and I'm doing this, and I'm trying. Ain't nothing going on, but here it is. They doing their thing, and it seemed like they getting everything. So I was like, sure, well, let me go ahead and fall under the spectrum, and so to speak, yeah, and that was just me and my feelings and everything like that. And of course, it never worked. I didn't know at the time, but the end result, it was terrible, terrible. So
That's because
that's
you're not being true to you. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times, them people might not get the same outcome you got because they might not have a conscious about what they're doing.
yeah. That's
You
what I
have a
learned.
conscious about what you're doing. You
That's
know
what I
that
learned.
what you're doing isn't you.
Yeah, that's when I learned I can't get away with everything. I just can't.
Yeah. You know what I'm
It seemed
saying?
like it seemed like their stuff be thrown under the rug, but mine be put out on front. She's like, God, dog.
Yeah.
So but that was just the Lord saving my life, and
Yeah.
that's what I thank
Yeah.
God for, most
Absolutely.
definitely. Everybody don't have that luxury. That's for sure.
Um, Love,
Uh-huh.
what are the do's and don'ts to the musician world? Because you play both sectors.
Um, well, we kind of touched on it a little bit right then, but musicians never do what people expect you to do. As a musician, we already got that stipend on our name as, oh, they're gonna come in here and speak and sleep with all the women, and they're gonna do this.
Mm-hmm.
So once you go in there, if you have a lady friend that's not a part of the church, bring her with you and let them see you got your own woman or you got your own man. Another thing too, musicians, make sure, especially because now all churches are not bad. All churches do pay their musicians. They do take care of musicians. So musicians, if you got a church that's taking care of you, be on time. And when you get there, look like something.
Now that's it right there. That's it right there.
When you get there, look like something. And so, especially if you are Kojic or if you are Baptist, now you got some churches that dress down. I get it, understand. But we were taught, especially by being Pentecostal and apostolic, when I go to church, I need to be dressed up.
Sunday best.
You know what I'm
Man,
saying?
you were in fifth grade.
No, she did.
Listen, y'all, I had to throw that in there because A-Love been wearing suits. What you see he got on right now, that's how he came to school.
Let me tell you why.
Dress for the position that you want to be in. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't nobody know, but let me tell y'all why my father did that. At the time, my father, somebody told him that if you be in school to 12 o'clock, that's a whole day. And at the time, he was preaching for funeral homes and preaching funerals. So he told me, listen, you're going to go dress up. Hey, you got to be. You got to be dressed. Listen, I ain't driving you back home. I need you to come play for me today. You got to be already dressed up. I got to wear a whole unit of school.
Man.
The most, they didn't play, man. They didn't play. So yeah, please just make sure you look like something, man. Stay groomed. Musicians, it's all about personal hygiene too, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, please not smell like some old water.
Some old hot dog water, huh?
Even with the pastor.
I gotta cut up because some people be smelling like old water. They be smelling like mildew, like their clothes were left in the washing machine. They be stinking. Y'all be stinking. I'm trying to be professional, but y'all know I'm cut, raw, and dry. And y'all need to just stop smelling like some old water. And people don't think water get old, but it do. After 2 days, you stink.
Listen, the pastor, he's talking real good.
Trying to keep it together, y'all. He trying to keep it. Hey, look, you're not telling the truth. I'm telling the truth, but I'm just trying to help the folks. That's all.
It's
from
definitely
a woman. I smell men. I'd rather for you to bathe in cologne, but don't be. Now I can tell when you done put too much cologne on, trying to put it over some old stank. I can tell that too, because that be sour.
You gotta keep that cool water in his bag. That curve, that juke.
Get some of that juke. Get you something. But them musicians be stinking. It don't make no sense. They be looking raggedy, teeth be yellow, plaque at the bottom of their gums. I be like, y'all don't go to the dentist? Like, okay, all right, okay, Lush. It shows.
Now, what you about to say, Nate? I think Nate was going to say something.
Yeah, what I was going to say was, what you speaking was definitely facts, and that can separate you from, everyone else. There was a church I was playing for before I moved to Charlotte, that was in Wilmington, and I remember, and that was my first time getting paid. That was the first time I got paid, and they I was like, man, they pay me money, man. I'm gonna come suited and booted and everything.
Right.
So I was on time and everything like that. And I remember after a couple Sundays, one of the deacons, I was, he used to hand me my my check, and he would tell me, he's like, man, I'm gonna let you know, Bishop, he's so excited you being here. The way you be dressing, you coming here groomed up. He's like, you would not believe the musicians that was here before. They would come in their jeans, raggedy shirts, smelling like cigarettes and everything like that. And by me coming in and having to respect the house of God for like that, and coming in being presentable, because where the pulpit was, I was right behind the preacher. So they doing video, they do recording videos and everything. So I'm in every video. So, and I was like, man, it's amazing how some people don't even think about any of that type of stuff.
Oh, they don't, man.
Yeah. And it's so crazy. And by me, coming in like that, they took care of me tremendously, and I didn't know any better. So I'm getting any little thing. The check was fine with me, but all the extra stuff, that was like, you know, I felt almost kind of guilty a little bit. It's like, you know, but as I come to learn and everything like that, you know, it's like, you know, they taking care of me and I'm taking care of them. You know, that's, you know, what the relationship is.
Well,
You know,
I tell guys, how do you expect people to take you serious if you don't take yourself serious?
very true.
If
Very
you
true.
okay, what about okay? Do you have your own cars? Do you have your own website?
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you have your own marketing tools?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say, and we can definitely talk about this because last year, most musicians, especially myself, that do more than church music, all the entertainment places closed down.
Oof. Oof.
All the restaurants closed down. So
Mm-hmm.
what if you go to church, they tell you we don't need you no more? What are you gonna do? So, like Sis said, she touched on it a little bit about the tax situation, but I want to take a little bit further. Musicians, you need to get with some people that know how to invest in something other than music.
True. Very true. Very true.
There's a life after music.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love playing it. There was a time where I lived off of it. Thank God I don't have to do it now
Mm-hmm.
because I learned how to invest in other things. See, we don't want to talk about this. We know the pastor, he's in stocks and bonds. He don't tell the musicians about stocks and bonds.
Ain't that something?
They don't teach us about blue chips in church. They don't teach us about that.
Mm-mm.
But
Nope.
that's stuff we need to know about as musicians. You need
Mm-hmm.
to know about a 401k. You need to know about when you get 60 years old and you can't play no more, where you gonna pull some money from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So the do's and don'ts is, I mean, listen, first of all, that's good, but we need to talk these musicians says about getting with some investors, getting with some people who can teach you about real estate, because these musicians need to start owning some homes, some land.
Mm-hmm.
They going from pillar to post.
I
And
think
it's sad. It's sad. They're going from pillar to post. And I've seen it, you know, because I have some really great friends who are musicians, but they don't have nowhere to go. They leave their mama house. I mean, they stand with their homeboy,
Got all the talent in the world.
all the time in the world, and they're going from pillar to post. And I'm like,
Uh-uh.
so where you standing tonight? Oh, I'm in between. Or if they got a baby mama there, the baby mama, things don't work out with the baby mama. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me I've seen this? You make $1,000 a Sunday and your money
Mm-hmm.
gone.
Broke.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I went and got a hotel and this. I'm like, okay, you went and got a hotel, but
Mm-hmm.
what you know? You $1,000 a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
One church pay you 800, and then you go do another service, and they pay you 3. Oh yeah, but then I don't get it. I don't understand it. And and I'm talking about even women musicians. I've
yeah.
seen it. They're drummers,
Mm-hmm.
and they go through this money. They don't do nothing Monday through Saturday, but soon Sunday come, they got their money. But by the time Wednesday hit, they ain't got no money.
And you know,
You in my inbox asking me to cash up you $20. Oh no.
and that's why
Mm,
what the pastor's saying is so true, because you got to think about it. With those people that got the talent all in the world, the music life that's their life.
mm,
That's all they doing. So they don't know anything else. You got to think about, yeah, we're getting that 800 here, 300 here, whatever. And then if they're not working anywhere or got anything going on, we're betting on next Sunday. We're going to get that money right back. So that's why it's so easy to let me go ahead and put 800 down here. I'm going to make this money next week. And that be all good. And then it comes into repetition. We live in so much in the now and don't think about the future. And it
mm.
wasn't until I got a mentor,
I
and that's how
told
big
you.
it is,
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
start thinking about it, I start looking at my surroundings and the people that I looked up to, and I was like, yo, they finances, they ain't living like I want to live in 10 years. You know,
Right. Right.
their marriage don't fall apart, and then, they got kids here. I was like, I'm not want to live like that. And that was in the aspect of the road that I was going into until I got with the right company. And it's like, no, let me pump the brakes here, and take a step back and really see, what I really need to do, what needs to be done.
Yeah. I tell guys all the time, music is just 10%.
Mm.
Your playing gift, whatever you play, is 10%. 90% of the 100 is in your mind and what you do with it.
That's good.
10%, 10%. I don't care how good you play. Like y'all just said, we all know that sometimes the better musicians are the brokest musicians.
Come on, sir. You better preach
Mhm.
right there.
You understand what I'm saying? So now we are in a place where we got to make sure not only that we know how to, get that $1,100 y'all talking about, but where we gonna put it at? What we gonna do with it?
Yeah.
I'm saying, where we putting it to? Especially if you like me, you got children. You know what I'm saying? Especially
Yeah.
got
Mhm.
children. So now my children, if they get scholarships or not, it's my job to make sure they go to any college they want to go to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's my job as their father to do that.
Absolutely.
So
Mhm.
I live like this. I'm not gonna let a situation when I was playing, I'm not gonna let a situation where a person can tell me we don't need you no more.
Woo. Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying? So I learned how to have my money together. If I'm gonna do a gig, I already got that money in my pocket before I get it, just in case they tell me we ain't got it. Like, okay, cool, I'm good.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, I tell guys all over everywhere, man, listen, go ahead and set yourself up to where if somebody tried to fire you, it's cool. You already set.
Mhm.
And that's what we need to be teaching these younger musicians. Not how to get women, not how to get girls, not how to get a man, not how to do
Mhm.
this. First of all, God did not give Eve to Adam first. He gave Adam a job first.
Yeah, he's naming off.
So I'm telling you this. So make sure that man got his money right, ladies, before you try to marry somebody who broke.
There you go. I hope they heard that.
I hope they
V,
did.
don't you be making that face. Don't you be making that face.
No,
Fix your
baby,
What she
face
I
right
ain't
now.
married nobody broke, baby. Don't
This
marry
is
Fix
me.
her.
your face right now.
No, no,
Making that face.
I am not.
We're
I
gonna
mean,
I
give
done
you a
been
bill.
down, I done been down the road with Build a Bear trying to build a man, and then no, I'm not doing it. I
Fix
talk.
your face.
I got people right now. I know this for a fact where he loves me, but he ain't got no money. I can't do nothing with no man that ain't got no money. I'm sorry.
Hands up. You
I
don't
can't
know
do
how
nothing
long he
with
not gonna have no money. I just seen a man hit the lottery for $273 million 3 weeks after his wife divorced him.
Listen, that's a whole different conversation. Because if she, but you got to think about it. It's a different concept. What type of man was he? You see what I'm saying? Because
Well, actually, she was the breadwinner for the 15 years they was married. He never had a consistent job. Then they got a divorce, and 3 weeks later, he hit the lottery for $273 million.
Oh, that.
well,
but
that, you know what his problem
That.
was? She was his problem.
thank you, because that's
He was
exactly what I was
he
about
was
to say.
he was hooked up to the wrong woman.
She probably was a woman that was cackling on the rooftop. He probably wanted to swim on the rooftop. He probably was that man that they couldn't stand her. You never
She
know. I've seen some.
they asked her if she wanted to if she would get back with him. She said 273 million ain't enough for her to be with him again. She said she
Yeah.
still don't want him.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
it not money don't move. One thing about me, let me tell you something. And I've learned about some women, but I can only speak for me. Money don't move me. That's one thing I know about me. Money don't move me. I make my own money. I know how to get money. I know how to keep money, and I know how to go get it. That's
All
just
right now.
So money don't move you, but being broke make you stay still. Is that what
no,
you're saying?
Ooh.
no,
Being broke make you
no,
stay
Leave
still.
her
no,
alone, Collins. Leave her
no.
Huh?
Let
alone,
me tell you
Collins.
something. What makes me stay still? What makes me
Okay.
stay still, Collins, is
Okay.
when you can actually nurture and continue to keep me here. That's
hmm
what makes me stay still. When you can nurture my mind, that's what helps me. That's
So
what keeps me. But
so
when
yeah,
you
I
can't,
get I get the fact of not wanting to marry a broke man, especially depending on his age and where he's at in his life. But I mean, we're in a different time where a lot of times women are opening up, getting indoors and becoming more educated and making more money than men. Now, you might be the person or the blessing that can turn him on to some new game. You might be able to add him to your show, and he might have a personality out of this world, V, and he can take your show to heights you never thought you could go. Why you don't
well,
want to
with
do
that,
that?
well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. When that happen, it'll happen. But right now, my
It
name
ain't
on this.
happening.
My name, my name on this. And at the end of the day, Listen, I see where you're going with it, Collins, but I ain't going there with you.
Come on
Because
now. Potential
no,
count now. Potential count now. Come on.
now potential has led a lot of people with a broke ass, and I'm not gonna get no broke ass. That's just what ain't gonna happen. And I'm sorry, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. No, I've been there. I've been there with potential, and I've been there to where you got potential, but you never change. I've seen it, even with dating a musician or whatever. At the end of the day, where I am in my life, I cannot afford to be with somebody that ain't coming to me on my level or above me. I can't be
That's
with somebody
understandable.
underneath me. I just can't. I've
That's
been there.
understandable.
I started out like that at 19, being with a barber who, God rest his soul, but I was with him for 5 years.
Off
Mind you,
potential. Off
listen, on
potential.
potential. He was a barber and he could have did anything he wanted to do. Mind you, I had money at 19.
See, I think age and where you are in your life does play a big factor in that. Because at 25 and 26, you might be more willing to deal with potential. You don't got no kids and things like that. But if you 36, 37 years old, you already
ain't got
got
no
a family
time.
and things like that. I
But
mean,
Tyler, let
I
me tell
just
you
don't.
at
I
something.
that
just.
by
Let
that
me
age, you
just
should
let
be
me say
accomplished
let me
something
say
by now.
let
I
me just
just
say
don't
this,
believe this
Tyler.
is. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead, sis.
It's the only thing I want to say this, and you could take it, love. When I was 19, the mindset I had at 19, I'm doing even better at 36. You know what I'm saying? I'm not marrying
Natasha,
potential.
Natasha said, "Life happens, but not for 15 years straight."
Hell no, not no 15 years straight. That means the whole time I'm sitting up here, I'm having to cover the whole back end. I know what that's like. I own my home at the age of 20. I bought a house at 20 years old. And I knew what I had being that this man was in his 30s, he was 36 years old. I was 20. So I had daddy issues and from then, but being that I had my own money and I'm thinking like, okay, we're gonna be able to do this together. Boom, boom, boom. No, it wasn't even that. It was just a simple fact that he liked to gamble, he liked to drink. His money was going down the drain every single day.
Well, see, he didn't have a
So
lot
I
of
don't
potential.
Yeah, that ain't no.
That ain't potential right there.
exactly. Even when the opportunity came to go buy a building and we went looking at buildings to go get a barbershop, gave him $20,000, and guess what he did? He gambled it on a
Yeah,
low
he ain't
ball
had no
game.
potential.
We
He
was
ain't had no
engaged. We was
potential.
engaged to be married. Did that count? No. But when he knew I had the money and I believed in his dreams, he didn't believe in his own daggone dream.
Yeah.
So
How about that?
why in the world I'm going to keep investing in somebody just because of potential? I'm gonna be with somebody that's and that's got attention on my brain. No, I done been there, done that. No, I'm with
Just.
that bread. I
Oh,
need
intention.
no, hoe and with tension. So we got to be mindful, ladies. Well, I don't have time for that. Like Ayla said, you got to make sure your money together. You got
Got to.
musicians out here, they money ain't together. They living from pillar to post. You ain't got nothing to show for it.
Mm.
Residual income. Come on. Like
I
we
agree
don't have
with that
time
to a
for that.
certain extent, but I just don't want every man out there to be canceled because his financial situation ain't where it needs to be right now.
College,
I don't think that's a
college,
good message to
I know
send.
you saying that's not a good, but that's some bull crap because he is a man and it takes a good woman. And this is why I say that's some bull crap, college, because you got a lot of men out here talking about I just ain't found the right woman. But you got the right woman, but you still playing them dumb games. You ain't changed your mind. You ain't got
Yeah,
it. Nah, college. I
that's
ain't giving no
No,
man no break when it comes down to getting your money. You can't be
but
sitting around here.
that's what I'm saying. Like every man, just because he's making an effort to get money, don't mean he gonna get money. Sometimes it takes some people longer than others. Some people's journey is a lot longer when it comes to getting money. So we can't just weed out. So we just saying everybody don't got no money shouldn't be dating at all. They just should be sitting in their house doing what? Like that's not even
Get your
that's
bro.
not even
I,
normal because at the
That's
end of the
not
day,
normal, but you don't need to be dating
their
nobody.
human animal instinct is going to still be predatorial. They're still going to want to prey on something. They're not going to just sit there on their hands.
Me, you can sit and do whatever, but I'm saying, Kylie, I'm
Mhm.
saying this. You men, whatever you want to call it, you do not need to be trying to date no woman or pursue no woman when you know you ain't got nothing coming to the table. That's impossible. Impossible. true. That's
Whether you broke or not, though, you're still going to want to have love and receive love and be love and give love. That don't have
love
nothing
don't
to
pay
do
no
with your
daggone bill,
finances.
college.
I
The
got
love
you,
don't pay
but
no bill.
whether you have money or not, you still internally going to want to love somebody and want somebody to love you.
I think the
I've
whole
been there and
aspect
I
of it.
done that. I'm college. I've been there and I done that. I'm
I'm
telling you.
not saying you haven't, but what I'm saying is the fact that y'all are saying that you shouldn't be dating because you don't have money or because you don't have work. I can't fully subscribe to that because internally, one isn't codependent of the other.
So what we
It's not
doing?
natural.
So it's natural for me to just love you and I just supposed to just sit there and say, oh baby, it's okay. I love you. It don't matter you ain't got no money. I just love
No,
how you treat me. I just love
no,
the
that's
fact.
not what I'm saying. That's not practical neither. But like I said, we can't
So
just
you
have
think it's practical that somebody should date someone? You think it's practical? They date someone and they ain't got no money. That's what you saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I understand the fact that you don't want to date somebody that doesn't have money, but I'm
Mhm.
saying that we shouldn't cancel people out just because they don't have money because that's a slippery slope. You're not going to always run into the money tree. That's not going to always happen. And a lot of times, if you find yourself chasing a bag and making sure he got money, his main concern might be money and not you. So therefore, his concern is chasing the bag. So the same thing that he always getting to is the money. That's the same person you want time from. You ask him, can he give you some time? Nah, I got to go get this money. But that's what you said you wanted, right? Most women that want a man that has money usually complain about the lack of time. Most women who get a man with time complain about he don't have money. And that's just the rough balance that men try to we try to navigate. You know what I'm saying? Like you try to drive the horses and get to the money, but then in the back of the cargo, they saying, hey, when you gonna spend some time with us? And then you go back in the cargo and spend some time with the kids and the lady, and then the horse is running crazy. You know, it's hard to balance on both. And I don't think women pay enough attention to that tension that resides inside of a man. Y'all just say where the money at.
I think in the aspect of that, that's where the communication part comes in there, where you have to sit there and be like, okay, this is our situation. Well, let me back up even down to the point where the whole potential of the man and everything. I think it's dismissive to be for some a grown man to hold on to a female off of potential and there ain't no growth. Like, how long is this going to be going on for the potential? Because if you
That's
have
good. You
somebody,
definitely need to put a time frame on it. That makes sense.
yeah, just like you have your short-term goals, like, okay, what are we going to do in the year? What are we going to do in 3 years? That type of thing. And I look at it like that. If you see somebody with potential and then you kind of believe in them, put a time frame on that. Okay, we got a year to make this happen. If it's ain't happening in a year's time, because you're going to see if they're disciplined or if they just going to be
Correct.
lackluster. You're going to see it. So that's what it's up to that person, whether man or female, to pay attention to all that. Because if you sit there and just keep on letting them do, because they're going to do what you allow them to do. That's what happens in a relationship. Man going to do what the woman allows him to do, just like the female. They're going to do. So that's why you need to put a time frame. If you were talking about potential, okay, if we got the potential to do this, let's go ahead and push forward, see where this goes, and then if it doesn't work out, then I look at it like it'll expose a lot of that person versus you sitting there waiting years down the line. 15 years that went down, you waste all this time, and
Yeah.
you still looking at potential.
That's
See,
just like
college,
anything
and
else
see,
though,
college,
right? Like you.
college, you know how I am. You
Mhm,
rock with me in college. My thing
mhm.
is, I'm not saying throw the whole man away, but let me reiterate what I'm saying to what you're stating. I'm saying that potential is good. You got a vision, that's great. Okay, but what you doing with that vision
Mm-hmm.
that you're telling me about? Again, if you're dating or trying to date a woman, my thing is this: you need to have some form of plan or a vision already laid out so that that woman can understand.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm coming from. But it just because you have potential to being a good man, um and all of that stuff, you can be a great man, but how are you going to provide for that woman who could possibly be your wife? So
It's
you think it's
potential.
okay? So you think it's okay to say, okay, he got potential to
Why
be
you
a
keep
good.
doing
I'm not coming to my dad or I'm not coming to my daddy. I'm not going to Dad top and saying, well, daddy, he got potential. He gonna be looking at me like, girl, did you don't put that's what really mess women up with this
it?
potential stuff. He got
Potential is like anything else, though. Potential takes it's in school, it's in sports. What you do, potential has to be seen first, then it has to be harnessed and cultivated, and then if it becomes something, it becomes something. If it doesn't become nothing, it gets cut. It's just how that's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Most people get drafted in the NBA or in the NFL because of potential, how fast they can run, how high they can jump. Then they put them with a coach. The coach is supposed to cultivate these skills. They try. If it don't work out, they get cut. Somebody else picks them up, tries the same thing. If it don't work out, they get cut. They might fall out the league and never meet their potential. Just didn't work out. But he might go to another system and flourish and become a all-star, all-pro. So potential does matter. It's just about putting a time frame on it and making and being also being the person that can cultivate that potential.
Mm-hmm.
That's all about. We all are
somebody is
potential,
asking,
right? God looks at all
someone
of
is
us.
asking, can
God
they
looks at
call
all of
in?
us as potential, right? None of us are finished products, right?
Somebody,
We're all
okay,
potential.
Carter, someone wants to call in on your point. If you would like to call in,
Okay.
you definitely can dial 910-663-5976. That's
All right.
910
Okay, we got a number.
663
Let's go.
5976. So if you want to call in to come into the conversation or the discussion, you definitely can do that. So that y'all
Hit
can
us up.
make your point, because I don't want no one thinking that I'm saying not date that person because he don't have no money. What I'm saying is that I will not date someone that you can't even take me to sit down and get a $20 meal.
You silly.
I'm not doing it. I'm not. I'm Kylie. You know how, no, I'm not doing it. I done been the person on the other side. It's cool. You real like a nice person. And no, I'm not doing it. I'm a woman. I'm a queen.
It, it,
Absolutely not.
it's seasons though. That man bag might be tied up into different things. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
you
Like he might have
take
a
your
couple of, he
season.
might have a trucking business he's starting, and he might have his money invested and tied up in a couple of things. You might cancel him out too early and miss your blessing now.
Let me go here with this right here, right? I'm with daughter. There's a lot of ways we can look at this. If you look at it biblical, um, they didn't give their daughters over to broke families. Most of
Sure
the
did.
time, biblically, before they gave their daughters over, they made sure that, matter of fact, there was
Taking care of
forgot what you call a dowry fee.
A
There
dowry,
was a
yeah.
dowry fee that they had to pay for the hand of the daughter. So the father just didn't give his daughter into the hands of any man. He wanted to make sure that if he took care of the daughter, then when he passed on, that the man was gonna be able to take care of the daughter. And I see it from Carly's point of view too. I see it from daughter's point of view, and it's all based on the individual, or how the
Mm-hmm.
individual want to work it. As a father that has daughters, I look at that too also, as to, who's dating my daughter till they take care of my daughter. But then I want to go another way, because I've been that broke person. When I got out of prison, not that I never worked, I worked all before when I was sold drugs. But when I got out of prison, I didn't have about $2,000. And my wife, which is Kathy Dean, she came, wanted to date, and she wanted to get married, but I felt uncomfortable because I didn't have nothing to bring to the table at that time. But she didn't care, because she was and child support hit me. That's a lot of things. You got to put that in there. When child support hit, it's not that I wasn't working at that age. Child support was killing, everything that I had. So I had nothing to bring to the table, and I felt uncomfortable talking about marrying, somebody. She didn't mind. Some women, they don't mind, because hey, they making X amount of money. And I guess she knew me, you know, from a long time. Long story short, she stayed there with me, and one day, I sold some property, 31,000 I had brought, not knowing that the property was going to be of value anything. And a couple of years later, I sold that property for $31,500. Took that money, brought my first semi truck. That's when I started El Jari Express. So I went from struggling, making $9 an hour, to making
That's deep.
175, 185, and $211,000 a year.
That's deep.
And so, my wife is happy now,
She
that
almost
she
missed
stuck
the
it out
bag.
with
You
me,
know what I'm
that
saying?
she
Almost missed
but
the
it doesn't
bag.
work like that in all cases, so I
It don't.
understand daughter with daughter, and she's right, because if she done been through that, no woman, if you didn't experience that, no woman wants to go
Go through
back
it
through
again.
that again.
Yeah.
So I see her point of view, but we can't make everybody path the path for everybody. It's
Correct.
up to the individuals and the situations, because some women have married broke men, and they regretted it. Some women have married broke men, and like you said, it flourished. So there's not no one size fit all. But I
I like
back her if she been through that with two or three dudes, and then she just recently got out of that. So I can see why she's gonna hold a stance against you, cause not that you wrong. She just got out that situation. So when you just get out of that and you've been struggling and people done put you through that, trust me, you're gonna kick against that all you want, because you're in a place now where, hey, who wants to go through struggling? That is bad when you broke, you're married, you have nothing, bills coming, arguments gonna come, you got a child in that situation. That is a very bad situation to be in, and you got the front like you got money, but in
Right.
reality you just broke as a joke, but you're in front of people acting like you blessed by
Right.
God, but at the end of the day you look like you cursed
I
by the
like this comment
devil.
right here.
So I understand why daughter's holding her grounds, and I see where you coming from, but it's no set situation. So I back both of y'all. Depends on what situation you was in. I back her in her situation. Then I
Mm-hmm.
understand you, because I've been that guy. So it's whatever, however, who you're dealing with. Basically, what
I
I'm
like
trying to
I
say.
like the comment right here that says our potential plus vision and action is powerful. However, we as men don't start out as beautiful swans. Many men have potential locked up as ugly ducklings. Is many times the lack of commitment to see it through. And it works like that a lot of times, where sometimes, like, I can have the potential to do something, but I lack the commitment or the right polish or ingredients or seasoning to bring it into to make it manifest. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you get with the right woman who takes all this raw meat that you got it and turn into a fine gumbo. So
Absolutely. And I'm
And it,
that woman. Hello, somebody.
yeah,
That's the type
and
of
that's
woman I am. And 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 I'm not putting myself out there, but I'm that woman who's basically what you just stated. And what I ain't gonna do, I ain't gonna do. Yes, love is powerful. You can have powerful, and you can have somebody that you rock with and all of that. I'm not, when I'm doing these shows, I'm not bringing my personal now life in these shows. I'm talking about my past life, my past experiences, that sort of thing, because I made a commitment to myself.
Right.
But I want people to understand, women to understand this. Don't be trying to, if the dude, you find out what you need to find out in the first conversation with a guy. If you ask the right questions. And when
this is
I
true.
ask the right questions, immediately I know it's a no-go. The
oh yeah,
mindset I have
yeah.
now and the mindset I had when I first got married, absolutely not. I did not ask enough questions. I
Right.
didn't. So
That's the key thing
being
right
that I
there.
didn't
Yeah.
ask
That's
enough
right.
questions and it kind of went fast as it did, mind you, I got married in less than a year. I dated, engaged, and boom. And that's
Oh
how it
no.
was with all of 7 engagements that
The-
I had.
yeah.
Everybody, the 7 men that I dated, proposed to me less than a year. It
Hey, when a
wasn't
man know he know something, he wants something, right? He know when he know, right?
And
Yeah.
a lot of times in that situation too, it's not so much as that, is that they don't want anybody else to have either.
Oh,
exactly. And
right.
that's the truth. And that's and what I've learned, I had sat down and went over my life. And the 7 engagements, with the seventh one was when I got married. It was 6 engagements. My last marriage was my number 7, actually went through. But the other men that I dated in the 6, okay, the issue we had, one, my jealous father, he was broke, he ain't had no money, but I was drunk and I went and laid up with him. I got a baby, and then I tried to make it work and turn this whole situation into a home to where he was not ready to be with me. He wasn't ready. We made it very clear. We had that conversation. You weren't ready to be with me. And I was not going to be with no man cheating on me, especially when I'm paying all the bills.
Wow.
All the bills.
All the
Yeah,
bills.
I totally
So,
get it. Like I
so
said,
that's
I would
why
never.
I'm saying and listen, I'm not knocking when you come to, mind you, I was with Daniel for over 10 years off and on. We together, we not. We together, we not. Okay, we're gonna try it out again. We're gonna do this. Listen, been there, done that. So potential is not gonna work for me. Now, a man like what Pastor Thomas is saying, he's a pastor down there in Aden, North Carolina. What he just stated, he said potential plus vision and action is powerful. That's what I'm talking about. When you got a vision and you don't know what to do with it, like you say, putting them seasons together, baby, let's put this pot, this water, we're going to make it work. Let's hire who we need to hire to get what you need to get. If I already have the information and the education, let's push this, boom, 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 baby, get your money, let's go. But you got it to where you have men who I'm talking about, and let me be clear, the one who have no vision, no plans, no nothing. Y'all just moving and grooving, shaking and grooving, and that can't keep happening. You have some musicians who are like that. That's why I say going pillar to post. Just because you got a talent and you ain't doing nothing with your talent, that makes you, I say, less of a man because you're not doing what God has put in you to do, to provide, to protect, to love, all that good stuff. You are causing yourself to lose purpose, and that's why you stay in the potential category. That's why I say what I said. But if you rocking and you rolling, and I see you working and you pushing and you grinding, baby, I'ma back your vision. I'ma back your dream. I'm with you 100%. How much it's gonna cost? The money ain't an issue for me. Let's be clear. It ain't the money ain't an issue. What is the issue for me? Be the faith, the commitment, and the fact you ain't doing nothing with what God has given you.
Okay, so you know what? I think we can go to the next topic because I think I won. Y'all feel like I won? I feel like I won, right?
You always been trying to think that you won. That's a problem that we had in college. You always thought you could win every argument. No, you did not win.
She said she gonna back him and turn this raw meat into a gumbo.
Okay, Kylie.
That means she might date some potential. It's still hope. All right.
Okay, you're right, Kylie. I'm just not. I don't want
but
my.
I'm with you to a certain extent because, like Dr. Toba said, I wouldn't subscribe that totally for my daughter. But I wouldn't tell her to cancel out. I wouldn't cancel. I wouldn't cancel.
What the hell wrong with you, Kylie?
Listen. I wouldn't tell her to totally cancel them out, but I would tell her to put a timetable on that thing.
Right.
Y'all been dating for 6 months. He said he wanted to be a basketball player. How many times you seen him work out? How's his jump shot looking? Is it going any better? Y'all been dating for 12 months. He got cut from the team. Baby, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He getting cut right now, and he ain't working out. He drinking, he's smoking, his wind ain't up. I don't think he might want to reevaluate that. So I wouldn't tell my daughter to digest that message wholeheartedly, but I also wouldn't tell her to cancel out her $273 million lottery ticket either. Because he might hit that $273 million. You know what I'm saying?
That's wishful and hopeful thinking. If he was a horrible man and that woman don't work for him, no.
Yeah, that ain't gonna be worth
it. What you got, Aluv?
Ain't gonna be
You
worth
the guest tonight.
I mean, what everybody is saying is making sense. Especially when it comes to our daughters. You got to watch how you allow your daughter to allow somebody to come into her life that she has to sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
She's supposed to be looking for a partner, not sponsorship.
Mm-hmm. I
like so, that. You know, and so I take that and go a little further. Even all the guys up here, you know, a lot of them married now, or trying to get married, whatever the case may be. We don't have to have a woman that got it all together, but she have to bring something to the table.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We have to protect our investment as men do. We're talking about, you know, women find a man with no money. What if we find a woman don't have no money?
What about you? You got to be in a real good financial space to take care of that, for sure.
What do we do? You know what I'm saying? So like my man said, he got trucking business and he got stuff, but he got that with his wife. But what if he was in a position where he meets somebody that don't have that? Is she with you just because of your money, or is she with you because she loves you?
If
And,
You
I'm
and
know,
see,
with if
it's
I'm
so
with you,
hard
I'm
to
with you
tell.
because I love you. Ain't got nothing to do with the money.
right,
I'm with
right,
It's
you
so
because
hard
I
to
love you
tell.
and how
That's
you
why.
treat
But you know what, Victoria, and it's so hard because
right.
even the aspect of whenever, when I was dating, the light bulb finally clicked off.
me.
I was like, that was a question of mine because I was like, okay, what does it look like? I build this empire. It's gonna look real attractive. All
Right.
right. If I have the business, I got the money coming in, I got all the security in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I meet somebody now after everything's been built, how do I know that they love me for me? Because if it's all gone, they could be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said,
Reading up.
it's hard to tell, and that's why what
True
Dr.
enough.
Tobin said is 100% accurate because it's a case by case scenario. You know what I'm saying? You can't put one shoe on everybody. You know what I'm saying? One shoe don't fit all in this situation, this scenario.
Right.
But that's 1 point for me, 0 for V. Let's go.
Oh
Ah,
Lord, you know that she ain't gonna let that go.
I got a quick. Hey, love. Miss Brown has a question for you. She says, "How about the musicians that keep leaving and going outside during the service? That's annoying."
Oh,
that's
Lord.
something. That's something. That's something that their pastor got to talk to them about.
Yeah, that's a culture. Yeah,
Yeah,
in
he
the
got to. He got to
house.
stop. He or she has to stop that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They have to. They have to talk to them about it. Like I said, every church is different. They may allow
Hmm.
that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They.
If
So,
you ain't paying that man, he could go take a break.
right. So that's to each his own. You know.
Well, Brian,
Yeah.
come out here. Maybe Brian, don't start now. I'm talking about maybe the one you ditching has money, but not let you know off the bat, and you miss your blessing by not dating her. Brian, you supposed to be
Let's
on my
go, Brian.
side. Brian, when I inbox you, I'ma whoop you. That's my brother from another mother. Brian.
But
Brian,
yeah,
you already know. Don't be trying to do me like that.
But yeah, if they taking
yeah,
breaks and they ain't getting paid, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
it
yeah.
kind of is what it is.
Yeah. You know.
That's definitely the culture of the church. Because I've
Yes.
been to churches. Once praise and worship is over, the whole band go into the break room
Right. Right. You know.
until the pastor done came out. He's over there preaching, and then they listen to when he starts to turn up.
Right.
Then they come on back out. And
Every church is different. You
yeah,
know.
every church is different.
Um, Another question from Yvonne out of New Zealand. She says, "How do you feel about dating in private and not? How do you feel about dating in private off of social media and knowing?" Okay, hold on, Yvonne, now, because you got a whole lot you don't wrote. I can only write. I can only say so much. She said,
Tell them to call in.
I wanted to call in. She's a really nice young lady. She said, ask Aluv, how do you date in private? Let me just ask him a question. How about that? Is it okay to date in private and not on social media without telling your family? Are you
Hmm.
maybe she's asking
That's so many questions in one.
I
right.
think I think she wants to know about dating in regards to keeping it private on social media. I guess when
I
you're
believe
in
that's what
church,
Right.
you got
Right.
a
Not
lot
People
of
knowing.
questions
letting
for
her
Aluv.
family
Without
know.
everybody knowing your business.
Yeah.
What
yeah,
Yeah.
once your relationship goes public in church, it takes on a different dynamic too. So
Tell what was her name, sis?
Yvonne.
Okay.
Yvonne.
Okay. Tell her the best relationships are people that are not on social network.
She's on YouTube, so you guys can't see her comment.
that's
Yeah.
a fact,
Okay.
though. The best
Say that
relationships are the
again,
Best
ones that
Aluv.
keep on
relationship.
the internet.
The best relationships are the ones that's not on social network.
Hmm.
The
That's
ones
true.
people post all their pictures every week. Them people are not that happy. They're
You
just
ain't
not.
lying 'cause I was one of them.
You silly girl.
I just wanted a man to say it. Yep, I found my boy.
So
There you go.
What you
So,
talking about?
yeah, everybody that take pictures and I have to get some. Let me get some time to know you before social media know you. I need to date you for myself.
Facts. Yes.
Let me get a
Social
chance
media
to
just
know
creates
you.
a lot of distraction. It's a lot of
Right,
distraction with social
right.
media, you know?
Say that again, sir. Let
It's
me
a,
get to know you without social media knowing you.
I don't want. I
yeah.
don't want no woman that's on social media put everything we do. No, I'm like this. I don't want
Everything.
everybody in my business. No way. So now I gotta have a woman that everything she do, everything we do. I'm trying to drive. She taking the picture while I'm driving. I'm trying to talk
Oh
in my
yeah.
face.
Well,
And
I can't. Will you
sir,
put that phone down?
you got to be
sir, I
weary
think
of
you're
that.
gonna need to date somebody that was born in the 70s, maybe then, because she was born in
Hey,
80 on up. Oh, she gonna post that video of you driving and she in the car and the music playing.
hey, I'm
Date
trying to.
night. She gonna hit you with that
Right.
date night,
Well,
and she gonna be on that thing now.
well, Pastor say, but Collins, you know what? That is true, but I think that comes with the conversation also,
Right.
because my wife
Right.
was definitely like that. But I had to have the
Mine too.
conversation. I had to have the conversation. It's like, it's not, it's not. I understand why you want to do it, but at the same time, because I looked at like if she gonna post all the good stuff, best believe she gonna post the bad stuff too.
Yes, sir.
she gonna be laying out her feelings and everything like that. And what's gonna happen is, here it is, y'all don't work it out, but the people she done posted
Yeah,
in
they ain't
status,
forgave you.
they
Yeah, they ain't
still got
forgave
that
you.
same energy,
Yep.
And then when you get around them, that's all they know. That bad post, despite all the good that you do, that bad post, that bad status is what they're gonna remember you for.
Nowadays in our society, we just don't feel like something is validated until you post it. So it has to be stamped. That's like a stamp of validation when you post it. And until I've been in relationships where I got a lot of flack for not posting them. Like it
Yeah,
becomes a
it's not
real
official.
argument. You know what I'm saying? Like you hid me from everybody. You didn't even it becomes a real argument. So you just got to get you a 70s baby. You know what I'm saying? 60s baby, 60s, 70s, lady born in 60s, 70s.
Joe, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, bro. There are some women out here now that's not on social network at all.
80s babies.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got.
well, yeah.
I know you ain't found nobody in the 90s like that. You got to be an 80s baby.
Oh no, I don't even look at them. I don't even look at nobody born on
But see, the pool is so small because you only got from like 80 to 85 to work with. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You got 80
Y'all
to
can
85.
have them 90s, man. Y'all
Because
can have them
I
90s.
read an article actually that says the people that cut up the most on social media are not the younger generation. It's
Right.
actually the 40s on the 45 on up generation that cuts up the most on social media. This is in an article I read.
Wow.
So
and you know what? I actually believe that because and this is just me personally. Is I look at it like it's some of the older generation, they looking like they missing out because it didn't have it when they were young. And I looked at it like because I remember when praise dancing first came about, a couple of years ago, and then I started noticing I'm seeing these 40 and 50-year-olds. I was like, Mother Smith, you over there trying to praise dance? Go ahead. Let that be for the young.
Sister Tanya, what you out here doing?
Just let that be for the youngest, But because it became so wildly popular, they like, oh, I wish this was out when I was a little younger. Now we want to do it. It's like, come on now, just stay in your age bracket,
But Eva, her name was Eva, right? It was Eva.
Hold on for once. Hold on.
Is that a phone call?
Yeah, we gotta call y'all.
Okay, we live, y'all. Let's go.
Oh,
Look, John said he loves this. It is almost 5,000 views on his end. Okay, John. Okay, Cassandra, go ahead.
Is it okay to date a guy that tells his family about your relationship and some personal things?
No.
And this dating?
That goes back to what Nate said, though, right?
Repeat your question again, Miss Cassandra. They want to make sure they hear you real good.
Is it okay to date a guy that tells his family about your relationship and everything that goes on between you two in the relationship.
No, that goes back to what Nate said though, because like you do something to me, I'm forgiving you, right? But if I tell my mother hasn't forgave you. My mother hasn't heard you whisper those sweet nothings in my ear and rub on my head. She ain't get none of that. The only thing she got was you did her baby wrong. So when my mother see you, or 2 months from now, my mother's still going to be upset about what you did when I've already gotten over it. And you might not ever be able to reconcile that inside of my mother. So no, I don't take my personal issues with my wife to anybody but God, and then I bring them back to my wife. Like, hey, listen, we need to figure this out.
And then the aspect you talking about in dating, you definitely have to me, this is a red flag, because when you talking about going to marriage, it's the husband's job to cover the wife. Right. And it sounds like he's just exposing you. So if you got somebody that's just leaving you high and dry, because when you in a marriage, this is a partnership, this is a team, we're here to make each other better. And I may have a teachable moment, but in that teachable moment, instead of me learning, you over here telling my business like that without me allowing me to be able to get it corrected. Because we all
go ahead on Nate.
Oh, you go ahead. You can go ahead.
And then is the family that they telling it to. I don't know if everybody got a family like my family, but my family gonna tell you we don't want to hear nothing about what you got going on. We don't want to hear nothing about what y'all got going on over there. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of family I got. So I don't have to take it from the house, whoever I'm dating. My family, my mama, my sisters, my brother, they ain't studying nothing about their relationship, because at the end of the day, I have to work that out on my own.
My family hold grudges. I ain't telling them nothing.
Listen, Collins, listen.
Thank you so much for calling in.
I'd like to hear the men feedback on it, so I'm happy about that now.
Keep your eye open.
You feel right, sis. Your feelings are validated.
That's right.
Most definitely.
You a member now. We hope to hear from you next week too.
Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you so much for calling in. Who's next, y'all? Because I forgot. I've had the phone on silent. I'm so
Come on,
sorry.
take it away my heart. What you doing?
Listen, I want person.
This is a teachable moment. This is a teachable moment. So we're going to let it.
Moment. Yeah.
I'm trying to help you maximize your potential out here. You see what I'm saying?
You know what? I cannot fool with you at all. Okay, the next question is, let me get this question. Lord, y'all working me tonight. See, all this stuff was going on last week.
Hey, we about to train your daughter. She's gonna be working in there next. We're gonna get her going. She's gonna be ready.
Jayla, please. Okay, the next question is, if he considered, do you, woman or guy? You got a lot of questions. Hold on. We should have answered this question earlier. Okay, she says, my question to Pastor A.
You got a nickname, Pastor A. All right.
What's the difference between being a secret and being kept private? Y'all ladies bringing it tonight.
Well, see, one thing I found out about women, I think they really misconstrue the two. Just because I don't want to post you on Facebook don't mean that the right people don't know that we're dating. Y'all heard what I'm saying?
That's private.
Right. So
private is what he's saying, his personal inner circle.
Right.
Secret is nobody.
Right. So don't think just because I'm saying, sis, that okay, I don't want you to post something on Facebook. I don't want you to, let me get an opportunity to get to know you, and then if we work out, because sometimes you date some people that you ain't gonna marry no way. So what if we don't put everything on Facebook? We don't put everything on Facebook. So now I got to go back and take all these pictures off.
Delete.
All these women, all these potential women that I could have been talking to instead of talking to you. Yeah. I got to tell them we ain't together no more. You know what I'm saying? So let me and you work our own issues out. Okay. So once we work them out, and if we work out, okay, you can tell everybody now that we getting married. Stop trying to invite people to your school and invite them to your graduation.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
To answer this,
School,
to answer her
school
question.
ain't even built. Y'all still got brick and mortar down there. Y'all ain't even finished building
Right.
school.
Right. I'm about
Okay,
to.
okay, so then she asked this question, a secret and private. She said, so is she a secret when he calls her to come over 11 p.m., 1 a.m., but have to leave by 3?
Well, now she ain't no secret because we know.
It's faster.
We know now.
Listen,
Whatever he did,
listen.
we already know what's going on. That he knows.
He only calls her. What times now? Give me those times again. Those
That's
times
booty
are
call
important.
time.
Those are
Hey, you
booty
know those
call
call.
Booty
Hey,
times.
call
hey,
time.
Those are
Charlie, you
booty
know those
call.
times.
Listen, when
That's
Those
booty
times
call
the old
time.
folks
Goddamn.
say there's
when
only
the
one
man
fan open at that time.
listen, when a
I need
man
those
only
times
dealing
again,
with you,
V.
go ahead and say the times.
She said 11 p.m., 1
To 3.
a.m., but she got to leave by 3 o'clock.
Okay, so right.
Yeah, that's booty call.
What does she have to leave by 3 for? What's going on at 3?
She don't know.
She said this has been going on for 2 years, and I would like to know, should I end it? But he does bring me around for holidays.
So yeah, she's probably just a placeholder. You know what I'm saying? Like
A
Listen,
men,
placeholder?
a
What? What's
placeholder.
a
listen.
We just
placeholder?
keeping it 100 with you. Let me
That's
write that
sport.
up
That's
for
a
you.
sports term.
Listen, we just a placeholder, like the number 0 sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying? She just
So he
holding the
take
place.
her. So he take her around for holidays only, but
Yeah, because he don't want to be
What?
lonely. He still wants to have sex from time to time. He don't want to be lonely. She's
What is
holding
take
the
her
place
around?
until he gets what he actually wants. So in the meantime, he's just going to kick it with her. Because if he really wanted to be with her, he would want, like, when you want to be with somebody, you want to spend time with them at odd times, like 12 o'clock. Oh, I miss my baby. I want to see her. Oh, it's 3 o'clock. I wonder what my baby doing.
Right.
Like, when your brain is programmed and locked in to only wanting to see this person when your lower half is excited, that's
Mhm.
that's a placeholder. And then you
Right.
don't want to be lonely for the holidays. You want to have somebody come around, or you want to go to the cookout with somebody. And sometimes we do things just to keep y'all in rotation. You know what I'm saying? We know we got to do things to make you happy so you don't fall out of rotation.
I think she should be happy that he is at least bringing her around on holidays because usually side chicks don't make holidays.
That's
Right.
true. That's true.
She's a level up from the
She's
side chick.
definitely a step up from a side chick.
She's
Let me tell
definitely
you
a
Yeah,
that.
so
step up.
she ain't no side chick now.
Yeah,
Not
she like a
now you
step
bring
side
it to the
chick 2.
family.
She's like
Right.
You bring
side
it to
chick
the
2.0.
family.
Look, the doctor. Look,
Yeah.
the doctor got something to say on that.
Yeah, now you bring it to the family. You got to be important. But
Right.
my question would
That's
be to
not true
her.
no more, though. That's not
My
true no
question would
more.
be to her though is why is it that she don't know her place? You know, y'all been together 2 years. You know, why is it that you don't know where you fit at in his life? You know, and why you allowed it to continue to go on? You know, it's something wrong if you're not sleeping the whole night. You got to get up. You got to set time at 3 a.m. Why? You know, I've been asked the question, why do I got to leave at
And
3?
why
What's the
did she
significance
come
at
back
3
at 3?
a.m. that I got to get up and I got to leave for 2 years straight? You know, I have to get up at 3 a.m. and leave. You know, what's happening after 3? I think I'll stay around before just to see
Yes,
what's
sir.
happening.
Yes, sir.
But
That's it, Doc.
anytime you're
And
dealing with a man and you have a level of confusion in regards to what you are, that means it ain't for you. Because if he really cares about you, we never want you to be confused or insecure in your position. We
exactly.
He will
always
let you
want to
know what you
secure
want.
you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We
Exactly.
always are intentional about securing you in your spot. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime I leave you to wonder, I don't want to be with you.
Right.
And also, and even to the aspect of what I said earlier, you know, men going to do what you allow them to do. So you allowing this to happen, you know, why would he change? You see what I'm saying? You know,
Right.
it's because to him, it's everything hunky dory. You ain't
Listen, men
complaining.
are very intentional. He's intentionally
Oh yeah,
doing this.
exactly,
You
most
know what I'm
definitely.
saying?
Because
For
and then you
real.
got to look at the aspect of what's the progression. How are we? You know, on day one, we're still doing it on. You know, when it's 600 days later. You know, where's the progression? This is
See,
what's going to keep.
I mean, I don't know what's wrong with him because for one, I'm not gonna be no secret. That ain't gonna be it.
Sometimes we get stuck into
But
patterns, though. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like
That ain't gonna
Stockholm
be it.
syndrome, where you fall in love with your abuser. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's something that he's speaking to her internally that's already like feeling some type of way 9 times out of 10. So we fall in love with those patterns, and we get, like, a lot of times when you break up with somebody, it ain't even that you miss them, you miss the patterns that you had with that person. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
it could be anybody. You just miss the routine. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's the
And the next
routine of what you was doing. So that's her routine now. So it's hard to break her routine,
'Cause-
but she got to
Again,
go in
if you
there and
wanna-
she got to
you know
come
what
on.
you're
Let's
gonna
deal with
get.
it. We can break it up.
Yeah,
Right.
because you know what you're gonna get.
If you want to call in again, you can. The line is open and it's clear. You can call in before we let Mr. A go, Pastor A go, because they done gave you a whole new name. They
Come
love.
on, Pastor A.
So you want to, like I said, call in, state your question, make a comment. Even if you don't have a question, you just want to comment, that's fine. Dial 910-663-5976.
I got a question for Pastor, right? You seem like a brother that's pretty prolific. So what's the dynamic in regard? Because she said you had like, you know, she was getting a lot of messages about, you know, the women, they wanted to know what you had going on. So what is the situation in regards to you not being in a strong relationship? Is it something that you're just not focusing on, or is it just something that just hasn't came across your path?
He went out some. I couldn't hardly hear what he was saying.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
But yeah, you better now. Go ahead. Say it again.
Yeah. Now I was saying, so what's the dynamic or the situation in regards to you being in a serious relationship or being married or anything of that nature? Is it something that you're not placing your focus on right now, or is it something that just hasn't came across your path yet?
Well, I was already married before to my kid's mother.
Got you. Okay.
So, and we was already married. So in the midst of that divorce, I just made it, made a commitment to myself that I'm going to focus just on the children and stuff I got going on before I even involve a woman into what I have going
Into
on
your situation, because
Right.
they got to take all of that in.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah, because you don't speak like a brother that's just out here just for the sake of being out here. So,
Oh,
you know
no. I ain't got, that's too much time wasted, man. That's too much time wasted.
So 600 ladies that was in the inbox, there you go. You know what I'm saying? But I would encourage y'all not to be shooting your shot, because men don't take too well to the shot shooting. We like to shoot the shot. So when you shoot the shot at us, it's probably going to miss, because while you chasing me, I'm chasing something else, because at the end of the day, I want to win. I want to hunt something. I want to catch it. So I'm not running away from you. I'm just running towards something else. You know what I'm saying?
And listen, I don't have them type of shoes to chase 600 of them. God no. I don't got them kind of shoes.
So, Pastor, I got a question for you. So,
okay,
I didn't know that aspect. So, you said that you was, a divorce. So, was this divorce happening while you were pastoring, or before you became a pastor?
Way before.
Okay.
Way before. This is when I was just a musician. I wasn't preaching or nothing in my divorce.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it was the aspect of doing some church ministry, obviously. You was the musician, church musician.
No, no, I haven't played in church all my life. I was on the road. I was touring with different bands.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yes, sir. You got to look me up, dog.
Oh man, I got to, yeah, man.
Come on, Google me. Google's your friend. Come on.
So I church. I mean, I recently just got back into really just talking to musicians about church. Man, I did a secular thing for a long time. A long time, and so when I was touring, and I didn't really understand. I was young when I got married. I didn't understand that you had to be home.
Okay.
And
so that was gonna be my thing. Yeah.
Talk right there, hey love. Come on.
You had to be home. And so I was young and I wasn't willing to do this right here. I wasn't willing to compromise for her. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I wasn't willing to compromise. I was taking care of my house, taking care of her. And at the time we didn't have no children. So I was taking care of her. So I'm like, hey, I gotta go make this money. You know how we do as musicians.
Yeah.
And when you're young like that, you make your own decisions. So,
yeah, for
and
sure.
I think that's awesome that you say that, because even as a musician, because we make our money being on the road, being traveling and everything like that.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of times when you're in high demand, sometimes you get that. I don't know how you operate. Sometimes you may get that phone call where you got to leave the next day. Yeah, you got to go.
I was gone. I didn't ask her nothing. I flew out, gone, because I didn't understand the time that her opinion and what she had to say mattered. To me, it didn't matter back then.
Right.
because you was getting the bag.
Making
Yeah.
money.
That's
and,
right.
and that's the harm, and that's kind of spins back into the conversation we was having previously about, like, you know, you want that money, but a lot of times you get out of money, he don't got that time.
Right.
And then if he got that time, he ain't got that money. You know, it's the horse and the carriage. If you
Right.
riding the horses, you get into the money. If you tend into the carriage, the horse is running astray.
Right.
That
Yeah, most
balance is hard
definitely.
to get to.
Yeah, but you know, in marriage, you have to compromise. There's a lot of compromising.
Right.
Mhm.
There's a lot of compromising. No one on either side could be selfish. No one on either side could be selfish.
Mhm.
That's understandable. So right
Yeah.
now you're
So-
kind of working on yourself and taking time and out and trying to put together what, because I kind of did something like that too. When I first became a father, I was trying to figure out what it was and how it
Mhm.
looked to be a father. I had to figure out that piece before I started dating serious. Before I brought
Right.
anybody into the situation, I had to figure out who I was as a man, as a father, because I wasn't just a man anymore. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I get that
Right.
for sure.
So piggybacking off of that, what advice would you give for even the women who are watching and they may end up being in a marriage with a musician? Because that's a whole nother dynamic right there.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give them to, you know, basically how to be able to maintain? Because, you know, musicians, once they get going, man, so
Oh yeah.
you know, sometimes it is you got to be on the road for an extended period of time.
I would tell women you got to know who you marrying before you get married to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
When you met him, he was a musician.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the road then. Come on.
So don't try to change him.
Change him in the midst. Yeah.
You can't do it. You can't change
Come
him.
on.
You
And,
cannot
and
change him.
we appreciate you for being so you know, so introspective in regards to stating up front that, hey, I was making mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't taking tough feelings at her time, and you know, things like, you know, you came up here to deal with it. We appreciate
Yes,
that.
sir.
You ain't hiding
Listen,
from it. You ain't ducking no phase.
No, sir. Let me tell you something. He know how I am, man. I never been fake, and can't nobody pay me to be fake.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm up here to be honest and truthful, man, and let the people know that, hey, as preachers, musicians, we make mistakes too.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so like I said, mine was at the time, I wasn't preaching at the time, but I was a musician. But mine was I didn't compromise, man. I tore a whole situation up because I wasn't willing to, you know, to compromise.
Yeah, and then you had to deal with all the blowback from it in regards to being in a separate house from your kids and all that. Like
all of that.
Yeah, I know how all that goes. That's a different type of pain. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
Yeah. So I got a question, Pastor.
Yes,
so
sir.
What I'm hearing you say is this right here. You know, if you are a musician and you know that it requires a whole lot of time, then a musician need to sit back and think about that before he get married too.
Yes, sir.
Because then once you get married, you're required to devote that time to the wife. That becomes your number one ministry. So if you understand, you know, if you gone all the time, trust me, that's not gonna make good for no marriage. Trust me, marriage is stronger with time invested with each other. So as a musician too, like you said, I love you saying this. Well, this is what I do. I'm not gonna compromise. Well, you're gonna have trouble if you have that mindset. So it would be a good idea for musicians to sit back and think, wait a minute, you know, what I got going on, is it going to be conducive for a good, healthy, not just a marriage, a good, healthy marriage?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And now you saying you talking real good, because I even had that, you know, conversation with myself, because I was when me and my wife were dating, I was in Wilmington, North Carolina. She was in Charlotte, so I would see her once a month when we were dating. It was like 4 hours of drive. Yeah, it was a long distance relationship.
Oh, Jesus.
And I would see her once a month, and I would come up on Fridays, you know, spend it together all day Saturday, and it was like, hey, I got to be gone by 6 o'clock in the morning because I got to be in church on time.
Oh, that's probably what do that. Then she gotta leave by 3. He might be
But yeah, but when it got down to, you know, the marriage part, I knew that, you know, even when I moved to Charlotte and I was trying to, you know, make myself known and go to church and stuff like that, and then I knew, you know, when you're a musician and you in the ministry, that's like a marriage in itself, you know. And then I was like, okay, I'm here, I'm going with, you know, a whole new realm, being a husband, you know, and I having a wife. And so I was like, I done seen many marriages fall. I done seen many marriages go down the drain because the husband wasn't tending to their wife. And I was like, okay, let's not repeat this process and everything. That's when I really had to sit back and be like, okay, God, what's going to be the direction I go in? And then, and I never forget this, you know, after I got married in 2017, it was the month of December, God spoke to me and he said, now it's time to start your ministry. And I was like, what you talking about? And I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, I ain't trying to go out here be preaching and all that other stuff. I was like, And it was like, no, my ministry is my family. And then right after that, my wife got pregnant. And so I was like, okay, God, I see what you're doing. And in the aspect of that, me being with my wife, there was, you know, I was doing pest control and just going down to talking with that potential, me getting with my wife, I was able to grow in the aspect of making money because I started going to a whole nother sector where I started going to do heating and air. And then by her supporting me going to learn how to do all that type of stuff, I took a huge pay cut, you know, for that. But at the same time, I was on a journey and I showed her, I was like, listen, if I do this, this is the position we can be in this period of time. And just to give fast forward, in less than 2 years, I ended up having a federal government job doing HVAC and taking care of her and the baby. So that's what the whole aspect of, you know, when I was looking at it, like, okay, I know that I have to be able to provide for because she doesn't know what it's like to be broke. You know, her family took care of her all the time. So I was like, okay, I know I got to step
get on your job.
I got to step it up, you know, because I was like, I can't
you
have
can't
her.
Be feeding her no top ramen, oodles, and noodles. She goes,
nah.
I'm going back to my daddy house.
We got to.
I'm not doing it.
And then on top of things, you know, she got parents that be like, she coming over here and taking the baby. So I was like, nah, I don't need to be in that position.
She ain't riding no struggle bus with you.
Ain't none of that going on. You know, even down to when I talked to her father, we had the conversation, and he told me straight up, you can't take care of her, bring her back. No, questions asked. No questions asked. Like, you can't do it.
He meant that for real, Dick.
He meant that.
But guess what? I took that as a challenge. Like,
a challenge, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Demanding you would take it as a challenge.
Never be in a position to where that has to be an option.
That's right.
Yeah, the man in you takes it as a challenge. If you don't take it as a challenge to step up, then you're just not a man like that, you know.
Most definitely. And that's what, you know, these women have to do, because there should be, as a man, the DNA should be able to, even if they're not in that position, it still be a desire right there to be the provider. To be able to step up and be like, yeah, I'm a man taking care of my household. But if you got the man that's over there just allowing you to pay for everything and do everything, he's over there, you know, being a leech.
Amen. Right. And I don't think we need to get so caught up on the money aspect of taking care. There's a lot goes with taking care of that woman. You know, you could be a great provider, but are you meeting her emotionally? Daughter said something, are you challenging her mentally? You know, and, one thing as a pastor, this is a mistake I made, and I heard daughter mention this one time before, and I can relate to her. The greatest struggle that I had was with my wife was who to be. When I understand I minister to the church, when they come to me, I'm going to give them the biblical sound advice, squaze. Okay. When my wife come again to ask me about stuff, she don't want Dr. Darrell Tolbert.
Oh, sir.
Darrell. And a lot of times it was a clash, because I'm telling you what's biblical and you should get this because it's biblical. And this is what I tell everybody else. But she don't want that. Sometimes she want to just be held. She don't want me always shooting scriptures at her. She tells me shoot that to the church. You know, you don't. So they was, and in my mind I was confused, because what I'm telling you is right. You know, what's the deal? But then I get to realize that, you know, she don't see me as a lot of other people see me. They see me as a pastor. I give them a biblical answer. They good. A lot of times your wife don't want that. She wants you to be Darrell Tolbert. Just talk to me about normal things, but I always got to bring in some biblical scripture to talk to me normal. She just tell me all the time, give me a normal answer. I'm like, a normal answer? You know? Right? But then as it created friction, but then as I grew, I began to tell him, say, okay, God, I got to learn to separate me, the doctor from the husband. She just want the husband. She don't always want me to say what God said this, what the scripture says that. She just want me to be plain Jane. I heard my daughter say that her marriage is like that sometimes. She wanted the husband. And so we get caught up and trapped sometimes as a pastor when it comes to our wife, that especially when they members of our church, we just then the answer you give them can be 100% on, but they don't want that. They
Yeah, because
want
they
the
want the
comfort,
emotions.
the
They want
love,
the emotions.
and the
They want to feel
understanding.
you. You know what
Amen,
I'm saying?
Sister Hawkins. She said there was a difference, and she right. It is.
Okay, so listen, y'all, I'm telling you, as it's coming in, I'm just loving what God is doing right now. Um, I gotta ask this question. And not even just ask this question. I don't want to be misconstrued or thinking that I'm not supporting musicians, and I'm telling women who date musicians to leave your boyfriends or husbands. No, I
I hope that's not what they getting
Oh
from this.
man.
please
What?
don't think I'm saying that. But um, question to Pastor Aluv.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that it's imperative for a woman who's dating a musician to support him at his events that he goes to?
Mm.
Yes,
Mm,
I think she should come
mm,
sometime, but not all the time.
mm.
And the
Certain
reason,
ones. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the reason why she should come because she have to look at this like she have to look at it like this. It's his job, and sometimes she can't go to all of them. Just like when they have a job, we can't go to their job.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have a certain access code to get into some of these women jobs,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think she should come sometime to show her face. Yeah, to let everybody know who she is and who she with. But she shouldn't make a scene when she get there.
Mm-hmm.
I
True.
have already let everybody know who you is, so you ain't got to come and try to take over. Because it's still my job because I'm getting paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Understand?
So yeah, of course, let them come. You know what I'm saying? Let them sit down and be pretty and do what they're supposed to do. But at the same time, she shouldn't want to go to all of them. All of them.
Right.
No, she shouldn't want to go to all of
Yeah.
them.
And
Cause
then
cause
also, do you believe that with the lack of support, it leads the husband to cheat?
Well, he gonna cheat anyway. It don't have anything to do with her support. If it's cheating in him, if that's in him, he gonna cheat anyway. It don't matter about what she doing or not. If that's in him to do, he's gonna cheat anyhow.
So what
I,
about if he's constantly asking that woman to be there and she just like, I ain't going, I ain't
Uh,
going, I ain't going.
yeah,
And
now
that's what
that's
I was
different. Now I
that's what
won't
I was
say
that's
that
what I was
he's
leaning
going to
towards.
cheat
Yeah, that's different.
anyway.
There.
Like when
okay,
someone
so
a
is it
man,
different there?
yeah,
Is
because if
it
a man
different
is,
there? Can you elaborate that? Because I have it to where someone really believes that being that emotionally, because I've learned this. This is what I've learned. I've learned when a woman does not support her man, there's a woman watching that's
Mhm.
looking to
Clean
see
up,
Yeah,
who
well,
yeah,
that
yeah,
yeah.
door.
clean
I
up
already
woman.
talked
So
about
Come
this woman. I talked about the cleanup woman. When,
on.
especially when he is a musician, I really want you to tackle that because that's what even as a mentor, even as a pastor, I have more men who reach out to me that wants me to. I had a conversation today that wanted me to talk to his wife. His wife don't want to cook. His
Hmm.
wife don't want to support. His wife don't want to fold clothes. His wife. It was a whole lot of stuff his wife don't want to do, and this is her answer. I deal with the kids. I got to make sure the kids do their virtual homework. I work 2 jobs, and
Whoa.
on top of that, me working 2 jobs. He wants me to have sex whenever he wants to. I be tired, but I still do it. And on top of that, I don't like his family. But at the end of the day, I still love him. And he gets mad at me because I'm too tired to go and support
it's a
him
lot.
at his preaching engagements, at his concerts, at his what she say? At like when they do the little rodeo thing they got here in Houston. They ain't do it this year. But she
So
said she's too tired. So she
I
can't.
got a
Yo, that's a
sis. I
lot.
got a
This is
question though.
multi-layered.
Let me ask this. Okay, before they got married, did she go to his
Yes.
shows?
Mm-hmm.
But
Or she
why is
just
it? Why?
stopped? I mean,
Well, she got 2 jobs
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
The
oh,
woman
okay,
got
and
2 jobs
the churn. You know, you got churn too. They got to
right.
get dressed and get
But it's
and
well.
2 jobs.
okay. But this is what I said because I do counseling different than other folks. I heard a lot of excuses instead of her telling me the truth of why she's not supportive. I heard a lot of excuses. And her main answer, once I got to the root of it, I do not like tapping into the prophetic because the prophetic gonna tell me the truth when she not telling me the truth. So her answer was this: he wants me to support him, but he does not be there for me emotionally by
Mm,
asking
That's the problem then.
how I'm doing, by
mm,
asking how was my day, do
Yeah,
I
because
need anything?
when I was hearing, everything sounded like a struggle and a chore for her to do, even to have
Right.
sex with. Like, man, like we having the wrong conversation. You know what I'm saying?
But
and
that's
then
what so
and
she's
then
It's
asking.
deeper than just showing up for some shows.
So the question this man has for Pastor Aluv and the panel, y'all men, y'all can take it one at a time. Um, the question that is being asked here, and we got to deal with it because there's a man life that is on the line. He doesn't want to lose his wife. He's a musician, here in Houston. But it's a good question. And we want to make sure we answer this question effectively so that he can get the support he needs. I'm his support, him and his wife's support. They trust me enough to share this. But again, her answer is he doesn't be there for me emotionally. So why should I be there to support him? Because he feels like her support matters. He feels like that's what keeps him going. But at the end of the day, he's fighting women. He said, I fight women all the time. I have to tell them I'm married. They be like, it's okay. I don't really need you. So I'm giving you guys the insight of this family that needs help.
Go ahead. You about to say
well,
something, Nate?
yeah.
Okay.
The first thing I'm looking at it is, you know, when you talking about somebody when she admitted that she's not being emotionally there, it's even though he got all his gigs and all the stuff that he got going on, he should be able to recognize the state of his wife.
There you
And
go.
when you see that, then you need to take a step back and put all that other things to the side. If you really care about your marriage, all the gigs in the world, all the gig, whatever the case would be, is not going to matter. You're going to tend to your wife. So my thing is, does he recognize the state that his wife is in? Because it sounds like what typical, as musicians, and it sounds like he's preaching and everything too. What he wants to do is have, his wife on his arm so they can have that image,
Mm.
in the church. And the one thing when you seeking for image, but you don't have that, your foundation is crumbling,
Mm.
that's a huge issue right there.
Come on, Nate.
So what definitely needs to happen on his aspect, because the success and failure is really predicated on him, of that
Come on.
marriage. And so for him not to recognize, because 2020 just changed everybody's life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So when you got to recognize, okay, this woman is doing virtual class, she got to be a teacher, a mother, a wife, and you talking about doing the cleaning and everything like that, but you don't want to take none of that slack off of her. I mean,
And
what
she
do you
got 2
expect?
jobs. And she got 2 jobs.
And the workers.
And
What do
2
you
jobs.
expect? What do you
Yeah,
expect?
I think they need some marriage counseling for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to what A Love was saying, like
I'm
there's
gonna
no
send it to my
compromise
daddy.
there. What happened?
I said, I'm gonna send him to Dr. Dale Talbot.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
He's listening. He's listening. I'm very raw and I'm cut now. The pastor that I was 5 years ago, I'm not that pastor no more. I didn't really say much. I kind of really went more of going to the man's side. It was also because of who I was married to. But I'm gonna give you truth, and he's willing to get the help he needs.
Yeah,
But again, you gotta think about the root of it. And as I told him, you can't keep saying, "Oh, because I didn't have a father." You can't keep saying
Nah,
that
that's not no
because
excuse.
Yeah.
now you
Nah,
have
you got to learn.
resources and you
You can
have
learn.
help to help you be who you needed to be.
Yeah.
His father made this very clear. His father told him to get married, and he got married. You know, they had kids, all
Wow.
that great stuff. But at the end of the day, her only thing, and this is what a lot of women, hear me, women, a lot of women can agree to. What will keep that woman in the kitchen? What will keep that woman legs open at night and in the mornings is when you feed her mentally and emotionally. That's nurturing her. You nurturing her mind. When you can stimulate a woman's mind, baby, let me tell you, she'll take you all the way to the mountain, to Mount Everest. That's how cold it is, and she'll say it's hot.
yeah,
That's the type of that's the type of woman that you got to consider. But if you don't have that kind of woman, you really need to really
yeah,
see where you
yeah.
are. You
That's
know,
true. The
so
greatness in a woman has to be unlocked, and it has to be unlocked by that man. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mm-hmm.
why different men get different results from the
The
same
same
woman. You know
woman.
what I'm saying? Like
That's
she
it
can
right
date
there.
this guy and be this way, and date him and be a totally different person because it's about what he unlocks in her.
Yep.
But yeah, they probably need marriage counseling because it doesn't
I'm
sound like
telling you that.
anybody's willing to compromise, and
And
she's at
I,
the point now where she's just frustrated and she's not supporting him just because he's not supporting her. So now
Yeah.
And then,
it's becoming a
She
vindictive
don't see the
thing now.
point.
You know, so she's
Yeah.
doing it out
Yeah.
of spite. So like
and
Mm-hmm.
they need the counseling, and
believe
he
they love trying
definitely
to
needs to
say something.
become he
Go
needs
ahead,
to
Pastor.
become more hyper vigilant in regards to what he's doing that's causing her to become who she is, and she needs to become more hyper vigilant in regards to what she's doing that's causing him to behave the way he is. They just
Mm-hmm.
missing each other. They need
yeah,
counseling for sure.
and they also need to find some time to go and have a vacation.
There you go.
Leave them two jobs she got. Him leave that pulpit, put the instrument down,
Mm-hmm.
and they need to go and have not a vacation, but a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's what they need to do.
Let me tell you something about them vacations. Let me tell you something. Them vacations is where it's at. I'm trying
I
to tell
heard
you, them
that, bro.
Yeah.
them vacations.
I ain't messing
Woo!
with you.
And then
That
too,
definitely
this
is
is something we're
important.
not looking at, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's working two jobs, he's working one. There's a reason for that. People don't work all these jobs unless there's a need for money.
Right.
So that
Mm-hmm.
there's something that they're not talking about. Nobody works voluntarily two jobs unless
Ooh, I
that
missed
money
that.
is needed to take
Yeah.
care of the finances in the
So
house. And whenever you put yourself in a
Mm.
position where you have to work at that level, it's going to break you down. It's going to take away, special woman. Woman was never, ever, ever, ever created to work two jobs. That
no
was never
sir, no
God
sir.
Mm.
intent for a woman. We keep want to say
Yeah.
she's the weaker vessel, but yet you heat two jobs, and sometimes she had to do that for
Uh-oh,
the
hold
end.
on now.
No woman is going to work two jobs and want to have sex. Trust me,
That's
she's not.
right.
I
She
She's
ain't
wild.
Exactly.
Italian. And no
lying.
woman,
Wow.
no woman gonna want to work two
That's
jobs
that
and
that
come and
becomes a
clean the
third
dish. No
job, and that's
woman
how
gonna
she's
work two
handling it.
jobs and want to come and support you in what you're doing. Trust me,
Yeah.
she's
That's
not.
a
She
third
was
job
never
now.
created to handle that type of pressure. And he's putting her in a position she was never created. And what happens when you put them in that position? Yes, you become resentful now. Now I'm resentful towards you, and I don't want to support you. But then he's stuck in his world because he can't see the pressure he's put on her. And now he's pouring back at her. Well, you don't support me. Well, you don't do this because now you're in this vicious
They
cycle.
miss
Why?
each other. Yeah.
Because everybody's out
Mm.
of their place. The whole dynamics of the house is discombobulated. You have to go
That's
back
good.
to the beginning and see the role. The role of the
Yeah.
woman was never to work two jobs. And
No
because
sir.
I don't know how y'all got to that position, but something's gonna have to happen where you're gonna have to pull back on one of those jobs. Trust me. Either he's working one, he's got to constantly be there. So there's a
Mm.
financial situation or there's a level that you're trying to stay up at,
Yep.
and trying to stay with the Jones sometimes will bankrupt your marriage because if she is working two jobs, where is us? Where's
Correct.
us?
Mm-hmm. What
And
is
you
it?
have
You
to consider.
marriage is about sowing time into each other. When I had that trucking business and when I was gone making that six-figure salary, It was destroying my marriage. And I was a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
It was destroying my marriage. My whole thing was I wanted to retire by 50. I had that goal, and I don't care what my wife said. This is what I'm gonna do. Hey, it's gonna
Wow.
benefit you. Just roll with
Wow.
me. Don't argue. All that. Just be quiet. You're gonna benefit. But she didn't want that. And one day she gave me an ultimatum: the truck or me.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
you gotta be
Oh wow.
considerate to that. You know what I'm
and
saying?
and I walked away from making 218,000. It was the church too because it interfered with the church, but she gave me all the truck of me. So I walked away from making $218,000 and got a little job making 45, eventually 60. But guess what? The marriage is so much tighter now. Why? Because being gone, you never had the time to invest.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage is about investment. The more
Yeah.
time you can invest in each other, the stronger the marriage. You can actually live with people and don't have invested time with people. Trust me,
Exactly.
y'all
Walk, sir.
live
Yes.
there. Yeah, you can live there without having invested time. Nothing grows. Even my relationship with God. You know, you got a lot of people go to church, but they don't have no good relationship with God. Why? Because the only
Very true.
invested time is that
It's
little
just on
time
the
on
church
Sundays that
service.
you go.
That's
All
right.
after that, God never hears from you, and you're supposed to be His bride, but He don't hear from the bride no more. And you wonder why your relationship is not good because
Mm-hmm.
everything is about invest. So that's their problem. That's one. That's one. You don't have invested time. Y'all scratch too far.
Right.
Yeah.
Too much going on,
That's
and
good,
it
Doc.
never been about us. Marriage is supposed to be about two becoming one. How can two
Innocent.
become one when one when one is gone all the time, and when the one come in, the other is gone? So how can two become one when y'all don't have no time to invest in the oneness? Y'all still operating as two. Trust me, you're operating as two, not
Mm-hmm.
one.
Yeah, man.
Bruce
Wow, that
Stevens
was awesome.
out of Tarboro, North Carolina said, Queen Victory, you know I am the queen. Come on. And so, hello, Dr. Tarboro and Nate. What's up, fellas? Ashley Aluv Doe, the Bass King. What's up, my dude? Um,
Base.
Bass King, sorry. Bass King. Sorry.
You might
He
catch some mean bass too. You
Oh,
might catch
that's
some
Sir
mean bass.
Bruce. What's up, Sir Bruce?
Great topics, y'all guys pouring out some serious knowledge. Keep helping the people. I know that's right. Thank you so much, Bruce, for your comment. Definitely, I just think that it's really important at this time. Like, um, he said, no doubt I will join y'all soon. I just want y'all to understand something that I'm not because somebody sent a message and they're saying that I'm really coming out hard on the women. I've been telling a lot of women to get your ish together, straight up. Get your
Are
ish
we having?
together.
Is it a different show taking place that I'm not a part of?
Listen.
What do you
No, not that because you got it.
Listen.
Because I think because you can only see some of the people on Facebook, you can't see them on YouTube and
No, but
Periscope.
I'm trying to get
Well, he's
what
talking
you're
about
Why
saying.
what's
they
I'm
being
feel
trying to get
said.
what they're
yeah, what's
taking
being
Nah,
said.
from what we're saying. Like
right.
I'm part of the show. How are we coming at what?
That what they feel. Okay, for one, they some people only hear parts, and that's one thing that I learned
Oh,
from
Oh,
that.
they
oh,
coming
Is
okay.
that
in and
they
yeah,
like
okay,
they
okay,
tell
okay,
me all
okay.
the time? You got some women that hear certain words, trigger
Yeah.
words, and they
Yes.
Oh
just
yeah,
take
trigger.
that trigger word and they just jump from there. And all I'm stating here on tonight is that we're asking. A Love is our special guest. So the questions you guys have are geared towards the questions and conversations that I've studied and went over, and questions that Nate and Collis and Daryl, they all have come together. Dr. Daryl Tarver have come together and asking the questions, but we're not coming down on women. I know some of y'all want me to dig into his personal life. He told you in the beginning he's private, but no question is off limits. He already stated. Let me tell you again. He said he working on himself. See, that's what's wrong with y'all women. Yeah, he said he working on himself, but then turn around, you want to date somebody that's working on himself. That's crazy. I mean, yeah, I'ma deal with it, Sheila, because
I know.
you one of the ones inboxing and boxing up there messaging or comment on
Oh,
YouTube, and you
she.
asking a question, and so all I'm telling you, let's deal with it.
Let's
He
deal with
said
it.
Okay.
he said that he was working on himself and focusing on his children and focusing on his
On his
business, right?
ministry.
Let me look
Mm.
That's
here
right.
so you can see me good. But this is the problem. that women, you pointed out, thank you, Sheila. This is the problem. When the man say he in between, but you say, okay, but you looking good. I like what you got going
He
on.
already
I
told you what his
understand how you
commitment
are.
was.
He already, men are honest. They already done told you the truth, but y'all want to be Bob the Builders and be what's her name? The woman from Popeye, the Pluto. What's her
Olive
name?
oil.
Sweet pea.
Olive oil.
Olive
Olive
oil.
oil. That's
Yeah,
her
olive
name.
oil.
Y'all want to be olive oil, and at the same time, you're Crisco oil. You want to fry
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
at the same time, and then they trying to help you understand. A man is trying to help you understand. Listen, I'm getting myself together. Now,
You
after
signing
I'm
up to be a
together,
side chick.
after
You
I'm
signing up
together,
for side chick.
then we can talk. Look, Ayla said, pointing to the side
No,
chick.
she's signing up to be a side chick. Even if you're not a
Yeah,
But you know
side
what,
chick to
Colin?
another
But you know
chick, you
what,
a
Colin?
side chick to his commitments. You know what I'm
That's right.
saying? Like,
But
so
you know
his
what?
commitment to you. So you the side chick to what his true commitments are. You know what I'm saying? But everybody that's out there being triggered by trigger terms, I'm not sure what's going on, but triggers only work when they got ammo in the guns. So
Right.
when you come into these
Mhm.
conversations and these shows, make sure you come open-minded and open-hearted so you're not triggered. You don't come with, animosity or anger from your day or other stuff going on, because the only way you're being triggered is if you come in with ammo.
absolutely. Let me deal with this question too. I can't even scroll all the way back up, because this won't allow me to. But somebody said, "Am I still hurting? Am I still hurting?" No. Am I still hurting as far as what? Because if I'm a tackle a situation, I'm not speaking from a hurt place, baby. Let me tell you something. I heal every day. I heal every day. I'm healing every day. So to be able to be in front of the world, in front of the people after what the hell I just came out of, baby, I'm healing every day. This is all God. So if you trying to understand if I'm hurting or coming from a hurt place, no, I'm not coming
Man,
from.
everybody hurting. She hurting too. Everybody hurting. We all got some level of hurt within us. I ain't got
Yeah.
time. Like,
She asked
what's
that
going on
question when
here,
y'all
man?
two was going at it about a broke guy. So that's
Oh
why
yeah,
she asked that
yeah.
question.
That's what that video was about. Me and Collins, we do
That's me and Vito doing what we do.
Yeah, but that's why she
this.
asked that question when y'all were talking about the broke guy. So that's when she been asked it.
No, I'm
We
not hurting. I
appreciate the
just love.
comments all the same. I tell you what, no matter if good, bad, or indifferent, keep them coming.
Yeah,
And no, we not women bashing. We addressing everything. We done bashed ourselves. We
Yeah.
listen. We not bashing. We reconfiguring. That's all we doing.
another question, I love, and we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
Is it okay for a pastor to date and have sex?
Pastor, say it one more time, sis.
How
Do
we
it one
answering
time.
this question in the Bible? We answered it.
Is it
Is it
okay
okay?
for but talking about Bible? Lord have mercy. Is it okay for a pastor to date and have sex? Is it okay?
No, biblically, we know it's not okay because it's fornicating. But are people doing it? Yeah. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, we can't. It's just like drugs. We can't. We can slow it down, but we can't stop it.
Facts.
Mhm.
You know, so that whoever asked that question, they already know the answer. It's not okay, but
Right.
there's some people who doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's not.
Right.
No, it's not okay.
And it's a lot of people getting married just so they can do it. So I mean,
Right.
it
Yeah,
goes.
because I was one of the ones. I'm just
It was
saying.
one of the ones.
Yeah,
And
that's
then just eliminate the
I'm
question.
being honest. I
Then
was.
eliminate the pastor question. The question should be, is it okay for Christian people who's not married to have sex? It
That's
ain't
right.
got
Come
to
on,
be
that's
a
a little
pastor.
even
Keep
deeper.
it
Now,
at the
come on.
lower level.
Because this is what I'm so sick of, and I'm glad you asked that question. I'm so sick of y'all with this question about the pastor. Y'all forget it's just a title,
Yeah.
okay?
mhm.
Right.
It's an honorable title. I'm not just saying
We
it's
said
dress.
up.
It's
Y'all
an
hear me?
honorable title, but they are human. They flesh get hot just like your
Mhm.
fat get hot.
Oh
It's the
yeah.
same thing. I mean, what's wrong with y'all? It's we deal
That's
with,
when you got to pull
but
out your
I'm not
ointment,
gonna.
your anointment oil. You got to
Yeah.
cool that flesh down now. Cool it down. Cool it
I think some
down.
of y'all crazy. If y'all kiss, y'all whatever y'all do, y'all lick it, y'all suck it, whatever you want to do, y'all
Cool
doing it.
it down.
So
New
it
Edition said
doesn't
cool it
matter
down.
what you say.
New Edition said cool it down.
Yeah,
Cool
that's
it
what cool is about.
down.
So y'all kill me with trying to tackle the title. Another question was that do is it? I want to make sure I'm answering right. Okay, Aluv, how many women are standing backstage after a service or concert? Well, concert, because we're dealing with your musician side. How many women be standing backstage ready to go home?
Enough.
Well, I mean, it's just okay. When you were first getting into it, in my younger days, it was cool to have groupies, stand around or having people there at the show. The older you get, you don't want that no more
Come
because
on,
you
talk
know
to him.
when you were a child, you do childish things,
And you put them
and
away when.
and now when you man, you put them away.
Come on.
And so I don't want to at this particular point of my life, I don't want to deter nobody that know I'm a pastor and they know I'm a musician because I may be the only Jesus that they see out there and while I'm playing.
Mm.
You know what I'm
And,
saying? Like
and
I
like,
said, when I was younger. Oh man, it's a lot of them back. There's a lot. It's a lot of women who was at the hotel waiting for you to get back to the hotel.
yeah. But you just grow
Right.
out of certain stuff like that.
Yeah,
It just
the
doesn't
older you
entice
get,
you
yeah,
anymore.
yeah, the older you get, you leave that stuff alone.
Listen, if I'm outside of the house at 10:30, I get sleepy automatically. Then I come home,
I
I ain't sleepy
heard
no
that.
more. I ain't sleeping no more when I get home. I'm up. You know what I'm saying? It's just that if I'm away from the house, I'm
Natasha, what
tired.
are you saying when you say no, ma'am? I must disagree. There should be a level of maturity.
Oh,
Maturity on
oh
what?
what?
I
I
said,
On
think
what?
I know what she's saying.
what she saying, Daddy?
What she's saying is, and this is the thing too. I think she's going with what you said, daughter, about pastor human too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Those positions carry weight, and we need to understand that the fivefold carry weight. So you have to be careful when you step into that position because it is a position of weight. It's a position of responsibility. People fall and rise with the pastor. You can mislead a lot of people from that platform, and that's why the Bible say, "Do not put a novelist in the pulpit," because a
that's right.
novelist will make their mistakes, become puffed up with pride. So when you
Exactly.
step in that leadership as a pastor, that is a flock. You are leading a flock, and so that's why it's important that we understand that the Bible says this also. We all should not want to become teachers. Why? Because the teacher is going to receive a greater condemnation or a greater judgment. Why would a teacher receive a greater judgment than a regular person? Because of the position. God looks at positions. He honor positions like fathers. Honor your father and mother. Why? Those are positions. And you have to be careful that when you step in those positions, these are weighted positions. So God, as a pastor, he would give me a greater judgment. Why? Because what? I'm preaching the gospel. I'm
Mm-hmm.
teaching. I'm leading people. The word is coming through my mind and out my mouth. I'm
Right.
accountable, first of all, for what I preach, not the people. I'm accountable. If I'm preaching to the
Absolutely.
people, I got to be accountable for it. So when you look at positions, even though we all need to grow, but when we look at positions, this is how the people look at it. They look at it as, okay, what is right or wrong. That's how they look at it. The pew people, okay, they fornicating, yeah, yeah, yeah. But the pastors,
Yeah.
they shouldn't be fornicating. They should be to reach a position of mature. That's the way the mindset looks at it. They put, and I think biblically, yeah, they should. It should be in a position of spiritual maturity to
Maturity.
where you understand that this spot, and let's go Bible. Let's look at Joseph. Joseph in that position, to where, hey, I can't do this.
That's
First
right.
of all, to God. But look at David. David failed, but David apologize, but we deal with what's right and what's wrong. So these are accountability positions. You have to understand, musicians, they're not accountability position. They're not even part of the fivefold. That's a gift or a talent. That's nothing that. But when you come to the fivefold, that's different. That's accountability position. And when you get in those positions, be careful because people are not going to have mercy on you. Trust me, they're not. They're not going to have mercy on you. A regular pew member can fornicate, but if you in the fivefold, you do it, people have no mercy on you because why? That position is a position where they're not going to have mercy on you because you should have retained a certain level, whether you have reached that level or not. But that's the way they look at it. So that's
Right.
why
And I
she's saying that.
and I understand that, but this is the part that Alove said in the beginning there before you got on is don't put your pastor on a pedestal because if they do
Right, I heard it.
fall, it
I listened to her.
if they do fall, it should not deter you from Christ. But that's
Right.
what I'm saying. That's my point in saying it. Yes, they have a title. But again, you have to also make sure you focus on Christ and make sure you build your relationship. So if
Amen.
your pastor do fall, you are in a position to pray for your pastor, love
Right.
on your pastor as he's sitting down. Do I think I'm gonna say this, when I was 16 years old and I didn't understand it, but I was 16 years old and I got pregnant and ended up, my mother told me, she was like, no, you're not having this baby. You getting an abortion. And I was like, I want to keep my baby. Ain't that a sin for me to kill a baby? But at the end of the day, my mama told me, she said, listen, what you're not going to do, you're not going to have another baby. And you are young. You hear what I'm saying? You're young and you're not going to do the same thing that I did. So I also was the youth pastor. And guess what my grandma and granddaddy had me do in front of the church?
What?
Had me confess my sins in
Oh
front of
yeah.
the church
Oh
and
yeah.
had me
Confess.
stand there and tell everybody what I did, that I was pregnant. I
Right.
was 3 months pregnant. They took my car from me. And on top of that, they was like, you going to sit down. And I sat down. I was 16. I was sat down for 2 years.
Mm.
I couldn't preach. I couldn't teach. I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't even hold an offering basket. I couldn't usher. I had to sit down and listen. And so what I'm saying, was it good for me? Absolutely, it was good for me. And I believe that's what they should bring back to the church, because everybody, that's standard. That's what the part of the question, Pastor Ayla, we didn't get to about the church standards.
Right.
But I believe the reason why the church has lost its touch is because they have
To not the
conformed
same.
to people more so than the standard that we should have upheld for the body of Christ.
Right.
Come
I
on,
still
daughter.
stand
Preach.
for holiness. I ain't nothing. Only thing different about me that most people are saying is that I'm speaking out more, and I believe more now in what God's word said. I stand on faith. I'm a woman of truth, and I know for a fact it's wrong. But at the same time, it was a time where I couldn't even go to church with jeans, and that I had to come in there with my little dually cap, my little dolly on my head, and I
Mm.
came out of holiness church. So holiness and Baptist, but there's still standard that still needs to take place in the church. I still believe that.
Yes.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to make that clear, Natasha Waller, that I'm being very clear on, I'm stating, no, it's not okay. No. And that person is responsible for their account.
Right.
Got to remember, we got to give an account for the things that we have done. It's in Revelation. You're going to be
Yes.
judged for the
Right.
things that you have not done. So those of you who are saying, listen, I know only God can judge me. He sure is. He's going to judge you on Judgment Day. So I'm not stating to you that it's okay for you to do what you do. Yes, we do fall. Absolutely. And yes, you sometimes you can't tame your flesh. But all I'm saying to you is that when you walk in the lust of the flesh, it's gonna get you in a lot of trouble. And so it's important. I commend anybody that puts themselves on consecration and say, and they're trying, because you don't know the work they're doing behind the scenes. You don't know what their pastor is doing behind the scenes. All you know is what is in public, what you see
Mhm.
in public. And so that leads me to my last point, to where with Pastor A Love, do you believe perception is key?
Mm. Absolutely. I think when we look at, like we were just saying about standard, a lot of churches have dropped the standard because they're trying to reach a certain people. You know,
Right.
I'm trying. Y'all understand what I'm saying? They're
Yes.
trying to reach a different crowd, and
The
you
peace
know,
to the people. Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, and see, once you start doing that, you lose the essence of a church, the foundation of it, and
Mhm.
then a lot of times you're gonna lose your elderly members too.
Mhm.
You know, you still got them inside the church. You still have them, and so I tell everybody everything that's going on in somebody else's church is not for your church.
Come on. Preach.
That's the truth.
It's not for your
Preach.
church. It's because they doing it over here and it's working for them. Don't mean it's gonna work for me and my church.
Mhm.
And so when you like like I said, once you start bringing this going on, this happening over here, I'm telling you, stick to the principles, stick to the Bible, and the Bible's always going to work. And have some people around you that's not yes people to tell you, Pastor, we don't need to do that in here. You need to listen to. Don't knock them because you said they don't have no authority. Don't knock them because you said, I'm the leader. And this here is a thing. Like I said in the beginning, V. This here, we all are in this together in ministry.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and so
sir.
we have to allow the people to speak and voice their opinion without us being, having that arrogant authority of I'm the leader, And so yes, it matters B, to answer your question. Yeah, I just think that people need to get back to the standards. And once
most definitely. And piggybacking off of Pastor saying, what people don't even realize with the title, what modern church is right now.
Right.
What people don't realize, with the aspect what churches are adopting, I started noticing a lot of things I started learning whenever I used to be in sales meetings. Whenever I never liked sales because it was like, you got to be a shark and, you basically, my perception was you got to, get people to do something they don't want to do in order for you to make money and everything. And I remember when I used to go into these sales meetings, they used to give us a script and they used to teach us how to basically, even if the person don't want to do it, you can get them to spend that money. Right. And even I'm talking like to the aspect of where it was, and it's effective. I didn't believe it at first until I started doing it, and I was like, man, it's actually true what they said. And one of the tactics was they had these like an option book, and they used to always tell me, written is real. You can sit there and talk all day long, but if you write it down, have people if you read it, it does a difference. So I used to do these options. It used to be option A would be like the cheapest price. The second option would be, the cheapest price plus a little bit more. And then the third price would be something astronomical. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to pick that middle price. And that's the one you want them to do. And then I look at that like with church nowadays, with the lights and all the presentation that they doing, when they want you to worship, they set a certain ambiance in here. I remember at church when I went to Elevation in Charlotte, man, I'm talking like to the fog, to the music, to the bass and everything like that. It's a real experience. It really puts you in a certain type of, mind frame and everything like that. But then I started looking at it and I was just like, man, and I felt subject to that. And I was thinking like, oh man, this is something different. But then when I was sitting there looking at the aspect, I was like, man, it just, when I started analyzing it and I was like, man, it wasn't like the church that I was used to where, it wasn't no conviction going on. Right. That type of thing. It was like it was appeasing my flesh to where it was comfortable. And I was like, that don't look that made me nervous because I was like, what you gonna say?
Hold on for 1 second. Ayla has to go. He has a conference call, and I know Nate, you was talking. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, you got to go. Let him go.
But Ayla, you want to finish your point, Nate? I don't know if Ayla was gonna say anything back to you about it.
Oh, if you got something to say, yeah, you can go ahead and say.
Oh no, you did well, man. I just like to say, I thank you guys again, Sister V and all the co-hosts. Thank you guys again. I really enjoyed this tonight, and I pray that this show continues to be a success. If anything we can do for you, V, just let us know. Yeah. And I appreciate it. Keep on growing, and don't let these people try to worry your patience, girl.
Come on, talk to her.
That's right.
I appreciate you, my man. Love is love.
Thank y'all so much. Thank you, V. Y'all take care of yourself now.
God bless.
Sir.
What was you saying, Nate? Go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt you, but he had.
That's all fine. But yeah, so I think it's just going back to what the standards is. With churches now, they're more appeasing on people's feelings. They don't want to hurt nobody's feelings and not giving them truth. And then you see what the result is, because here it is with the pandemic going on. Nobody could ever anticipate church doors closing. And here it is, they can't go to church and what a norm. And you realize a lot of people don't have that relationship with God like that. And what they've been relying on their leader, even when we're talking about putting on a pedestal, sometimes these people can't help put them on pedestal because the pastor is making them, they projected themselves to be that way, you know. You get these anniversary, services, and they got this big old king throne like they King Arthur and everything. It's like, that's the great woman and man of God, and it's like people they can't help it but do it because they're marking themselves that way, And now, so I definitely agree about, it definitely needs to be a lot more standards that goes on. So, because if there's no consequence to your actions, what's going to stop them from continuing to do?
Yeah.
So just like how you said, you gave the story, there was consequences behind your actions, being set down for 2 years. And when you really are ministry, you're like, okay, I'm not going to go and keep on doing that same old thing. But if you doing something that is, go against the church, but there is no consequence by it, you ain't being set down, you continue to still operate, what's going to stop them from doing it again?
Yeah, it's true.
That's right. I mean, the biggest thing is that I'm learning and that I've learned even in pastoring and church and stuff. I've learned that you gotta hold yourself up to a standard. If you don't have hold yourself up to a standard, then it's no need. What are you doing it for?
Right.
With me, it's an everyday work in progress and process. And I'm learning each day. Probably 2 years from now, I look back at these shows and I was like, I said that. Oh my God. Just I think you grow and become better, but you see people in church now where again, when I don't feel the Holy Ghost and the God ain't talking, baby, I'm out. That's real talk. I'm out. I just don't. I can't. My Shondo won't allow me to. If I sit in there maybe 5 minutes, I like this is dry. The Holy Ghost ain't in the music. You should hear the sound of the Lord in music when it's dry. Even if it's a CD player, even if it's you can tell the presence of the Lord because it infiltrates the atmosphere. It provokes the atmosphere. And that's what I know about music because guess what? Lucifer, look what God did. He made him the king. I saw the king, the magician of music. I mean, angelic. And when I don't hear the sound, I know the sound of God. And when I don't hear it, I'm like, this dry.
Yeah,
I'm out.
most the gospel music I feel like is so influential to me than any other type of music because you can be listening to gospel when you're sad or when you're happy, and it can when you talking about anointed music can take you to a place of unknown unknown realm to where you wouldn't even expect, to where you can be you can be strengthened, and know that everything's going to be okay. I was like, even though I'm going through this storm right now, there's going to be definitely a brighter day. That's what I enjoyed about being able to play and to be able to provide, because my whole objective, I wanted to be able to shift the atmosphere. If this married couple was arguing in the car on the way up here, I want my music to be so in tune to where they're not even worrying about their argument no more. They're up there crying out to God and open up their heart so they can be able to receive the word. That was my whole thing, and I love being a part of that type of aspect of ministry. I don't, it's and there's so much I can go into with the whole musicianship because it can be all the political stuff that goes on, and being taken advantage of and all that other stuff. It's a lot to it. In the aspect of when if you're not taught how to manage what comes with being in that position. And what I mean, we already seen about with the business side and even the women's side. If you don't know how to manage that type of thing, man, you surely can fall. Most definitely, because it can be a lot. So that's why I encourage any musician out there, really get to a mentor to be able to talk with, because anybody walking in, you be able to talk to, and a lot of times they can give you wisdom, and You know, don't be a person that has to touch the fire that see that's hot. Listen to them. They know what they're talking about, you know, and they can lead you and guide you in the right direction, you know. Because I'm telling you, man, that music, man, it can be real powerful in the church sector.
I love that, Daddy. Um, everyone said you real kind of chill tonight. You kind of low key tonight. You know they want to mess with the talk, but do you have anything to say to the people?
For one, I'm tired. That's low key, right? I went to South Carolina, left like 11 o'clock, so I pushed it all the way back. And for two, I'm listening. I learned something from last week. So that's why I'm low key. I learned something from last week. And with that being said, I need to say this. I need to apologize to my daughter, to everybody on the platform, and to everybody who listened. From last week. A lot of times you gotta understand that certain things are said, people react, and what a lot of time people perceive as, was aggression, wasn't aggression, frustration. A lot of times, when you love people and you've been in this thing for a long time, and when you can see what's going on, you sound the alarm, and people don't want to hear the alarm. A lot of times it becomes frustration. So I'm low key because I learned, and I'm a listener too. I'm not gonna say I'm not a musician, so you got people that's musicians. I'm gonna shut up and listen because that's their expertise. So if you want to talk about a pastor, then I'll comment on being a pastor. But for as a musician, and that's what I really wanted to listen to. And I knew that we had musicians on the panel, so that's a good thing. Great show though. I listened to it, like I told you, I listened to the whole show while I was coming back. So I listened to everything that was being said. So I heard the show. So it was a great show. Hey, Mother Hawkins. Hey, how you doing? I see on there. Come on down. But that's my take.
Yeah, another great show for sure. Appreciate everybody for coming out, tuning in, the feedback. I encourage more people to call in, get more real time feedback. Keep the comments coming, because that gives me energy. Your energy brings me energy. So the calls and the comments, it just spices everything up. And every time y'all give me energy, I end up sparring with V again and whooping up another time. So just keep it going.
Kylis, they said a lot of your fans, the followers, are watching your wife, soon to be wife, Nita. Are you excited about getting married?
I let y'all in on a clue. We got married Monday, actually.
You so raggedy. Let me fuss you out real quick. You want raggedy somebody. You just raggedy.
Congratulations, man.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we did something real
man.
subtle, real quiet on Monday. We're gonna have like another service in probably about 6-7 months from now. I'm trying to just let this pandemic thing settle down a little bit more before we I don't want to be selfish and tell people to risk their health and safety to come to be at a event for me. I just don't feel comfortable with that. So just trying to wait it out, because older people are going to want to be there, and like I would feel terrible if somebody came down sick because they wanted to attend my wedding. You know what I'm saying?
I knew something was up because she posted a picture with her veil on top, and I said, I know Kylis didn't get married. I know he didn't get married on me, and he didn't even tell me. Like, I'm your sister for real. Like, you already know. I'm gonna get to Anita. I'm gonna get y'all. I ain't gonna get y'all out of the way like that. But I just want you to know that is wrong, and you
Yes, man. Congratulations, man.
Appreciate it. Once the pictures come back, we'll post the pictures and let people know. But we still ain't got our pictures back yet.
Awesome. So, Kylis, you walked the Green Mile, huh?
Green Mile, Green Mile.
I'm so happy for my brother because it's been a long time. I wish I had waited.
And that's funny because a lot of people that got married in their 20s are now coming out of marriage, getting a divorce, and people that waited are now going in. So it's kind of like an interesting dynamic to watch from afar for sure. I think what we touched on a previous show is like we really just don't know ourselves in our early 20s well enough to get married.
Exactly.
And it's not because you're not able to. They say the brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25.
25.
But I think if we had more intentional conversations around dating and how to pick the right mate, like what I've learned is a lot of women beat themselves up for picking the wrong men from time to time, and they defend their decisions a lot when nobody never even taught them how to pick a man. So you're mad at yourself and you're beating up on yourself about how you let the wrong man in when nobody told you how to even filter these situations out. So I think that's why in our young ages it's so hard for us to find the right person, because in our teens, we're not practicing healthy dating habits. We're just kind of like flying by the seat of our pants. Like I never had a conversation with my mother about how to pick a good woman or what quality. Those conversations just don't happen. And those are conversations that I plan on having with my kids, and I want to encourage everybody else to have those conversations with your kids. Like in regards to dating, talk about it. What are you seeing him? Okay, so why do you think this? Having those conversations instead of just like banning dating until they 40. You know what I'm saying? Because that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, most definitely. And even in the church sector, what you have to be careful too. A lot of times, these pastors can manipulate you into marriage. Given that scripture is better to marry than to burn.
Yeah.
I done seen many marriages fail once they got that itch, scratch.
Yeah.
And realize, dang, I done did it. I don't really like this person.
It's about having the right conversation, man. So that's what happens with the younger marriages, man. But yep. Like I told her though, I've already felt married to her because it was a covenant. Once I confessed my love to her before God, it was kind of a done deal. The rest of it was just paperwork. And but I knew from like the first time I met her that this is who I was gonna marry. So it didn't take me no time or no evaluation period. You know what I'm saying? But that's why when I speak about men knowing what they want when they want it, I speak from a place of personal experience because I've been everything that a man should be and shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? I've been the guy that we talk about, the guy that ain't no good, and I've been a stand-up dude at the same time. So I've been a lot of different things to a lot of different women, and her experience with me is not every other woman's experience with me.
Ooh, talk about it right there.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about, brother. That's how they call you the professor, because her experience ain't gonna be what every other woman experience. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but it takes a certain type of woman to ignite that passion in you to be that better person, and that's the part. That's why when we say if you don't know what you are by now, then you should just leave, because if you're the right person for him, you will ignite that spark in him to be a better person. It's just going to happen. So if it's taking 2 years, it ain't there. You know what I'm saying?
It don't take that long. That's for sure.
Nuh-uh.
Awesome, man. Powerful.
Appreciate the love, though.
And I love the fact that my brother is married now.
I'm married now.
You got a whole panel full of married men.
And I'm the single one.
Not for long. We getting you right. We getting you right.
We're gonna bring you up.
I'm single, but I'm not available. How about that?
Oh, there we go. Come on. We got improvements being made.
Watch how you word your stuff now.
I'm single, but I'm not available. Okay.
We got improvements being made.
You can accept that improvement about me.
Yeah. I like that. That sounds better than what you said.
See what y'all Negroes ain't gonna do. You ain't gonna do that.
Hey, I want to do this for Mother Hawkins' daughter. I talked to you about this. Mother Hawkins, I don't know you, but I see you on the platform a lot.
Daddy, wait a minute. Just wait. Nate, we had a great conversation, and Nate dropped some knowledge on me, and he know I'm about to put him on the spot. But Nate had to call me this week, right, y'all? And I'm gonna tell y'all, Nate had dropped some knowledge on me, and I was able to give him a name. And I was like, Lord, I'm trying to figure out a name for Nate, because when I introduced Nate, look, now his when I try to introduce Nate, and I said it tonight. I was like, listen, this guy here, he's an analyst. So when we introduced Nate Collins, when you take over the show, next week, I think next week, Collins will take over the show next week because John wants to see how everyone can do it when I'm not on the show. So but Nate, he is the analyst. So Nate is the analyst. Y'all can tell he asks questions. The way he asks questions, he goes in, he goes deep. And so I'm super happy that I'm glad to have Nate a part of the show. I kind of shaky with you, Nate, because Nate disappeared on us dead about 4 times. The feedback we got tonight, especially from John, he said that's his name, the analyst. So you're the analyst. Carlos is the professor. We got the doctor pastor on, and me, I'm the woman of many hats. So,
Sounds like a plan.
so,
Minute head.
Oh man.
so I'm going to. I just need you guys. I know Daddy T-shirt size. I think Carlos, your size is what, a large or medium?
No, I wear them too tight to fight. So I work out. I got to show off my results. So I wear them medium. You better stop playing with me.
It's mediums.
I want to show off all that protein I be drinking. You better cut it out.
Listen, no. I just need you guys to inbox me your sizes because we're gonna have some no longer on mute gear. So let's deal with it gear, and you guys will be able to do that. And then like with your slogans and all that stuff that y'all say. I'm getting it set up. If you guys don't have a website, get with me so we can get your websites and stuff going. Because this is an opportunity for you guys just to bring out where more people get to see you all build your business. You can do all that. We're gonna get it all set up. Let's deal with it. It's sponsoring it, so don't worry about it.
All right.
We just know that because Daddy, I've been getting on him by his website. I've been saying something to him about his stuff, and he just dragging his feet. So I got some. When they sending me, if they sending me checks and they're telling me disperse it for this, what about this? I got a check today for marketing, so that's going towards marketing. So it's marketing towards y'all, and so I got to make sure this stuff gets done so I can send a receipt back. Come on, tax right out. So I need y'all to get with me with y'all stuff, y'all ideas, and y'all can rate it on y'all own what y'all want it to be. Okay.
All right, we'll do.
Tenfold.
Mother
Sam, love y'all.
y'all.
Love y'all.
Hold on, Kylie.
Who's that?
Erica is on.
How y'all doing? You know she always bringing me on live when I ain't really doing live. I want to say y'all are doing a phenomenal job. Keep doing what you're doing. Congratulations, young man, for being the hunter. And congratulations to your wife for being in the right place to get out. Hello.
Come on.
She know that's what I always say about being a queen. You got to always be ready. So I ain't with and looking for a man. I ain't looking for no man. I told him my king is gonna find me.
Hey, you got to go by the rock when he said he was coming back. You got to go to the rock he said he was coming back to now, and be ready when he comes back.
Yeah, I'm old school, and I also know about the women after the men. I told Lady B, I said, girl, I learned from these men. I'm listening. I have a brother, 2 cousins that's like brother, and an ex-husband that's my best friend. They teach me a lot. You understand what I'm saying? So all these women that chasing a man, like you say, my ex-husband told me, I don't want no woman chasing me. Let me chase you.
That's it.
Somebody giving you the right game.
Yeah,
you know what game is, right? You know what game is, right?
Love on yourself, ladies.
That's right.
Love on yourself. And I just want to say also to my daughter, I know by coming from the broken place and being hurt and about the broke man and all of that, I understand where she at because I say it too. You can't do nothing for me. You can't be here. But I also understand about being that pushy, but I'm watching. So if you tell me you're doing something, I'm watching. I ain't going to give you a year. I'm not going to give you a year. I might give you 6 months. But if you true about it, it's going to show.
Hey, even a real job only give you 90 days, right? Come on.
90 days. That's it.
We know how that goes. So, we ain't saying that I'm just going to cut you out. But she just said, I ain't got no time for the bull. I know what she's saying because I ain't got no time for it either. You know what I'm saying? You will take me to McDonald's, baby, because I'm going to eat some steak. So that's what I'm saying.
Hello.
But what I want to say about the preachers is so true. I've been in there. I was right there with Victoria. I understand about all of that. Put the pastor making him your God. He is not your God. He is a man of God. That's what people need to
Mm.
understand
He
and
not
stop
your
putting the
God, he a
pastors
man
in
of God.
God's place. Yes, because if we keep God first, and like you said, you say you in tune with the word, you understand? So the Holy Spirit gonna let you know when it's out of order.
That's right.
And I believe the same thing because I was married to a preacher. And I said these things. If you're not walking right, I can't walk with you. See,
Mm.
God holds you accountable for what you do too. You understand? So when we know
Yes.
something is wrong, we are held accountable because we know it was wrong. So
Hello.
that's what people got to understand. So I'm very firm, and I am watching them. I'm watching her too, and all those people that come at her. You got what I'm saying? So I'm telling her, I say, you know something? I say it's so true what you're doing. This is your time to do what you have to do because so many people are hurt and they need to hear what's being said now. Because
Yeah.
back in the
Amen.
day, we was told what goes on in the house, stay out. No, you need to speak out.
That's right.
You need to
To
get out
save
of these
somebody else from it,
relationships.
for
That's
sure. Yeah.
yes, get out of these relationships. That's not right. Cause he this and I don't care who he is. If he's the bishop. If he ain't right, he ain't right.
He ain't right.
You know what I'm saying? For you be dead. That's what's happening with people. They stand in situations that's not good for them. And that's why it's no longer on mute. And let's talk about it. So when people get on this
There
live
we
and they don't
go.
understand what y'all talking about, they need to get off. They talking about she trying to be this and that. I be like, cut them, block them, get off the live.
Get off the line.
If you don't want to be true in your skin, get off. Y'all ain't trying to. I mean, y'all talking about yourself and life experience. That's what it's all about. But people want to act like, oh, I'm so holy. I've never been there. Yes, you have. You have been there and done that. Tell somebody so they can be free.
That's
That's what
right.
we're here for. We all got a story to tell, baby. I ain't always been where I'm at. Hello. So
I
we
love
need to
it.
tell these young people so they can get up and let them know, hey, I was there too, baby. Yes, I got pregnant before I got married. Yes, I did that. I did that too. Yes, I did. So God did it for me. Guess what? He can do it for you.
That's
And
right.
that's what it's
Amen.
all
And
about.
that's the
That's what
big
it's all
thing.
about.
That's
And so
right.
that's why I'm so thankful for the talk and what y'all are doing for young people, older people. Because some of us old ones think we can't be taught, but yes, you can.
Mhm.
Because he can speak out the mouth of babe, right? So yes, we can be taught. Because I have two grandsons that live here with me, and guess what? They watch me. I told them today I was gonna have my boyfriend. They told me, oh no. So that's what I'm saying. So they watch everything. So we have to be so mindful. So keep doing what y'all doing. And I don't know the young man name, but you did an awesome job on tonight too. Pastor, I always enjoy hearing you speak. I always enjoy it because
That's
I'm
Nate.
learning too. Nate, yes, Nate, you did an
Yes,
awesome job
man.
too. And the
Thank you.
one
Daddy,
that
you
left
said you
off.
had something to say.
We appreciate all the love and stuff like and like energy like that keeps us going forward, so definitely I appreciate all that. Gonna give me more energy for the next show.
Yes.
And the one that got out, the one that's single, I love what he said. Who he got
You
time to be
love it.
chasing those 600 women. So he
Come on.
what he said, he dealing with his children and his baby mama is his great what?
That's
Support.
his
Support.
commitment.
They got hello. So they need to
Hmm.
understand. Get out the inbox. He not already told you what he told you. Who to say she ain't the one? That's all I got to say.
Mother, hold on. Wait a minute. Dr. Taba got something to say to you.
Oh, I'm sure appreciation. I always like your spirit. I always like your comments. I'm gonna, I'm gonna get your address from daughter if you don't mind. I'm gonna send you a copy of one of my books and one of my DVDs called Necessity of a Woman. I think you will really enjoy it. Great teaching on there. I just want to send it to you, show you my appreciation for all the love and support for my daughter. So it's something I want to give to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I can't wait to meet all y'all in person because I know she's gonna be traveling. This show is going somewhere. Y'all know that, right?
I
This
believe
just the
it.
beginning. Yeah,
Yeah,
this just
it
the
is.
beginning. God is taking her to some high places. She got some good people back her. All of y'all. Yeah.
Most
Thank
definitely.
you.
And I
Thank you.
know Daddy
Appreciate
always gonna be in the corner with them eyes that he is, and I know you're right.
it.
Look, y'all.
It's nothing like that. Is
That was
Mother
That
beautiful.
was
Erica
awesome.
Hawkins. She is the mother of my ministry of No Longer on Mute International. Um, it's nothing like having her. Um, it's nothing like having her apart and just being in my life. Again, she was the mother of the ministry that my ex husband and I where she
Oh
was the
wow.
mother there. And so she was with me there even during the times that I was married. And but we separated for a while because of the things that were said and done in the ministry that she saw that she did not like. Um,
Mm,
and then God set it up to where I was able to link back up with her. I went to her home. I repented to her because him and I were one. So whatever damage she caused with people in the church, I took the responsibility as well to go to them and apologize to them and repent to them for what took place.
Wow.
And ever since I done that, I was still having communications with her, but I did not give her an official apology and didn't repent to her family because she brought her whole family to our church.
oh
She
wow.
was married. And so when things went left and all that, I had to go over to her home. One of her daughters were actually, I need to call Lady V. I need to talk to Lady V. And so when I ended up talking to them and they just reached out to me, God mended. And this is when I learned that God has the power to reconcile when you allow God
Amen.
to do it, when you hear God to do it. So when I went over to her home, she didn't meet me at no restaurant. She didn't sit down with me. She invited me over to her home, sent me her actually her daughter sent me her address. Mother Erica didn't even know I was at her home. And it was her daughter that sent me the address, said, hey, come over. I want to see you, Lady V. I want to talk to you. And her daughter went through a mental breakdown at a time, in a pivotal time, when we should have been pastoring and really being there for the family. Um, we weren't really there like that. We was there in the beginning when her daughter was going through her episodes, but she really needed us. And Mother Erica was going through a housing situation. I mean, and we left. I mean, we both just blocked, deleted her off social media. Mother Erica's like, I don't know why, but I just followed the lead of my ex-husband. Whatever he told me to
Mm,
do, I did. But at the end of the day, it wasn't right. Like I'm learning that when it's wrong, you make sure you address it and state that it's wrong. And that's not how you
Mm-hmm.
do people. Um, a lot of immaturity in the ministry. Again, but I've learned so much. Um, okay. I understand college. I learned I had to learn so much with what I had went through with Mother Erica. So again, I appreciate y'all so much in so many areas on tonight, and I thank God for her. So that's the background of Mother Erica. And so when we rocking and we vibing, she treats me like a daughter, and she
Mm-hmm.
loves me. And I be telling people she loves me so much, as if I was her own. When I told her I was moving back home, she looked at me and said, "You moving where and when?" And I was like, "Oh Lord." So it's nothing like that. So many times you don't see that, because again, the ministry that I was a part of, while he was out, when he did what he did, the ministry was in my hands. And then when he got out of jail, then they started following him. And Daddy told me, majority of the time, that's what people do in the church. Some people just follow the man. He told me, don't take it to heart. They're following the man. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were for you, they will be with you.
That's
And it
right.
was okay. I had to learn in ministry how to walk alone during that period of time. So when that time came for Mother Erica to be in my life, God allowed me to allow her to come back in. It's just as well as she allowed me to come back into her home. And like she told me, people watching to see if her family and I gonna fall out again. They're watching to see. Really, they're really paying attention, and I love it because I am who I am.
And you know what's so powerful about that? Where me personally, don't really hear you being as a church leader actually going to a member and apologizing when you had it wrong. And people don't realize how long, that goes a long way when you can acknowledge, yeah, I did make a mistake. Please forgive me. But it seems like, some being in the leadership position like that, and we understand, you're a human being, but for you to act, for you not to acknowledge that, yeah, you did something wrong, that's what people can build resentment towards that because they don't want to use like, you too good for an apology. But let me do something that was against you, you would want an apology in front of the whole church, that type of thing, and that goes back into that whole, control issue type of thing. So I definitely commend you for that, to be in that place and be able to, reconcile that relationship.
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, God got the glory out of it. I obeyed the Lord, and when the Lord told me to do it, and I did it publicly on social media, and then I did it with her family and her daughter, and those. But
Wow.
again, as long as I'm walking with God and doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm not worried about people. As long as that's what I've
I
learned.
mean, that's
And so if I'm walking with God, I'm not
so
worried about
powerful
it.
right there.
And so that's why a lot of people have been offended by the connection. And I had to learn those that were connected to him and didn't mean me no good. I
Mm-hmm.
had to disconnect. I had to not communicate. I had to do it easily, silently goodbye. And it was good for me because once I did it, I'm seeing the manifestations of the Lord over my life, and I'm seeing the favor of God on my life. And I believe that's one thing that's pivotal in the church today. I don't see nothing wrong with the leader apologizing for their actions. I don't see
Right. You
nothing wrong.
should.
If anything,
Mm-hmm.
that's what's going to keep the people because they know you are
Most
a person
definitely.
of integrity, and they
Mm-hmm.
know that you are don't always get it right. If we can have
Exactly.
more honesty like that
Right.
in the church and with pastors and leaders, you will have a solidified, even if it's 10 people that's solid. You ain't got to worry about a thing in your life because of the simple fact you are honest and you apologize. If you said something wrong, and they took it that way, and even though it was the truth, I tell people, even though it's the truth, again, you still apologize because again, at the end of the day, that person may feel like you are the only person close to God where keeping them together. You are their missing puzzle. So you got
Mm-hmm.
to, those who are near and dear to me, I love God's people, but those who are near and dear to me, like my daddy and stuff like that, I apologize to him if I'm in error. Okay, you right, daddy, I was wrong. I fussed my daddy out. You know, I fussed my daddy out. I did fuss my daddy out. I didn't fuss him out like that, but I was arguing with him like, and daddy know me, when he's right about something, I shut down. You ain't gonna get 2 words out of me, and I'm definitely not calling you for 2 weeks.
gotta
Daddy
cool,
know that about
gotta
me.
cool down.
Yeah, I need 2 weeks.
Yeah, she in her feelings. She'll be all right though. Like
Yeah,
she'll
that's
be all
exactly
right.
right. You'll be all right. That's right.
Well, I think tonight, guys, it was really good.
Yeah, it's great.
Let's stay in the green room real quick. We love y'all on social media. Again, we'll be back next week. Let's deal with the talk show. Make sure you tell somebody that we are on and we are popping. We will be shortening our shows due to the simple fact that the producers have gotten what they needed and they got what they needed tonight. That's why I was over here like, yes. So we'll be shortening the shows, and I'm happy about that because we had to put in a lot of work to get to where we are. All
All
right.
right.
Everyone on social media, we love you guys. Thank you so much
Hey,
for
love
joining
you.
in with Let's Deal with It Talk Show.